Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome back to Reconnected, live tonight with Kevin and Charlie from the Almost Major podcast. Guys, first question I got to ask: what the hell are you doing? Do you know what you're getting into?
Oh shit. Charlie, you go first. I don't know.
I've been listening to your show over the past few weeks, and it's great. I mean, I love everything you do to give a shout out to physical media, especially right now when everything seems so dire in terms of it as a medium, and just couldn't be more honored to be here.
Yeah, I second that. I listen to you, like I was just saying, while I'm at work, and it's just fun I see all your posts, so I know when you're doing the announcements or whatnot. Usually know some of them, but still, some of them I don't realize that I missed them or whatever, or I just like hearing what you or the guests like to say about stuff. So, really great to be here, for sure.
I was looking at our feed earlier, what we were going to be covering tonight. Went, oh, it's only like 45 announcements. That's a pretty slow feed.
Yeah. Physical media is dying, goddammit, okay? The slowest death.
It is an honor to have you guys here. Almost Major, who wants to share everybody, share the elevator pitch with everybody?
So Almost Major is something we started 3 years ago, 12 years, I don't know. I think it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, October, with the fantastic film. Not really, but it's it's fine. Stir of Echoes from 1999, and we've done 103 episodes now. What we do is we do miniseries about mini major studios. So we've covered Artisan Entertainment, we've covered Lionsgate, and we are currently covering 1980s New Line. So that's basically how we do. We usually do about 30 to 40 movies in miniseries, and then usually do a live show where we rank all of them, and then do another miniseries after that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Great time to have some guests on sometimes, and then just more times than not, especially with the 1980s miniseries we're doing right now, just cover movies that truly do not exist, but they have people in them, or they just are indicative of a time that just like you can't get anymore. Where it's just like, this movie doesn't exist. It has people in it. It went to like 1,000 theaters, and you can't even stream it anywhere. And it's just like, it's this point in time that you can't get back, or you can't even you have to dig to try to find it, And honestly, a lot of them are ones that are not on physical media. So there's that as well, or they have a, just a dingy DVD release that looks awful or something like that. So it's very awesome to cover those type of movies. And, sometimes it's just like, oh, what an uncovered gem. And then sometimes it's like, oh, there's a reason that this hasn't been seen in 40 years. But, it all comes with it. It all is just very fun to cover these gaps that we might have, or to get a better understanding of what movie culture was at the time, or genre culture at the time, as far as what we're covering 1980s New Line and whatnot, just like what that studio was putting out around the time that it was also putting out major hitters like Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that.
That's one of the things I was going to bring up, actually, is listening to your podcast and then looking behind the scenes at these physical media releases. You can tell these smaller studios, which, they didn't feel small at the time. First of all, that's the funny thing. New Line was massive, obviously.
Huge,
but as you're looking at unraveling some of these, and why do these titles not have physical media releases, it's not because they wouldn't be like a stone cold seller. Most people would love a lot of these titles. However, with being smaller studios, the rights for the most part are a crapshoot. Some of these, they are in some producer's attic, and he literally has the rights, and he doesn't even know that he has them, and he'll be sitting on them on the day that he dies. Some of these, the studio has them, and for some reason they think someone else has the rights, so they just don't ever look into it. And the rest of it, who knows? It's somebody that just wants $4 million to license his film.
The Dawn of the Dead effect of it, as it should be known, or Martin and whatnot, where it's just like, we live in a world where that's just, you can just buy that on 4K now, even though a few years ago it's just like, watch it on YouTube. It's like, watch it on YouTube. What?
One thing that we should talk about too is, with the podcast, I have appreciated one major thing, and that's I love people that treat things as a learning device that is, it almost feels like you're networking. You'll go through these titles, and you're like, oh, it's connected to these 14 other episodes that we've already talked about, and you discuss that. And that's important because a lot of these smaller studios, they tended to work with a lot of the same people. So it was a pattern of recycling sets, recycling talent, recycling DPs, recycling directors, and when you connect those, man, you really get some glimpses behind the scenes that teaches you a lot about that era of cinema.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just like how not even just actors that were like as far as like currently like who are in the New Line system. Like yes, like every movie has Lin Shaye in it, and it's great because Lin Shaye's great. But it's just like, oh yeah, this person worked with this person, and they got a job with this person, and because we're about to be covering the Critters movies, and it's very interesting that the guy who did the effects for Nightmare on Elm Street 1 was going to be he basically had to choose between doing the effects for Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or Critters, and he wanted to do Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but he knew the guys that we all know as the Chiodos. This was their first movie, and he's like, "Oh, take a shot with them," and now they're
Huge,
great people, and just 2 years later they were able to make Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
On this show, everybody wants to know physical media. So Charlie, how do you feel about physical media?
I love physical media. I've been collecting physical media for what feels like, oh my god. I mean, basically my entire life. I mean, I've always been that kid who like my parents have always given me a rough time of like, are you ever going to watch this? I'm like, it's not the point. The point is I always need to have it just in case. Right. And especially with I think that my first like big label was probably Criterion, which is pretty basic. I mean, that's most people's first big label, and when you're really getting into film and whatnot. But over time, I've really gotten into Vinegar Syndrome and Kino Lorber and Arrow, and there's few things that bring me greater joy to go out and get myself for something that I consider to be self-care. It's something I'm extremely passionate about. So,
well, and speaking of the films in these releases, somebody told me you're involved in the Boston film scene. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, I am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I've been a member for about 10 years now, which is crazy to think about. I did a lot of freelance film criticism mainly back in the mid 2010s. I haven't been doing as much recently. I mean, the pod's kind of taken over, but I'm still very much a part of that organization, and we've got a great amazing repertory scene in Boston with nonprofit art house theaters such as the Coolidge Corner Theater, the Brattle Theater, the Somerville Theater. It truly does feel like a community I'm so blessed to be a part of, because I can go to any kind of random movie and just bump into cinephiles who are all we all basically go to the movies for that same communal reason, and it's basically like church for us. And it's I mean, I just went, I mean, we're probably going to get into what we just saw recently, but we just at the Coolidge, we gave the Breakthrough Artist Award to Jane Schoenbrunn for I Saw the TV Glow, and everybody in Boston who loves and cares about movies showed up, and I just planned on going with a few people and basically saw everybody that you could possibly want to see in the Boston film community just kind of gathered together, and it was just so wholesome and wonderful to just see that this, especially after the pandemic where things looked so bleak, that this medium still is thriving, and there are so many new voices out there that are keeping everything alive. And big long ramble to say, yes, I am still part of the Boston film community.
Ronnie commented the Coolidge Theater is great. The Coolidge Theater is on it's not written down anywhere. I probably should, but I've got an ongoing list of, by now it's probably like 50 theaters that I just want to see at least one film in before I die. And the Coolidge is definitely up there.
I worked there for 6 years, and it's one of the best jobs I've ever had. It's just, you know, we still show films on 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter. We got an after midnight program where we show lots of hidden gems, I would say, and lots of films that you would kind of expect to see pop up on this show, or even almost major, in terms of like, there's so many times I went into a movie at the Coolidge after midnight and had no idea what it was and walked out totally elated. I mean, there was one time where we had an entire martial arts themed summer, and I think I saw 8 Diagram Pole Fighter for the first time on film, and you know, just was like, that's one of the greatest film going experiences I've ever had, like hands down. And it's such an incredible thing to just go into a movie completely blind and just walk out like having your mind blown. So yeah,
amazing. Kevin, what's your history with physical media? Are you muted or mumbling?
Maybe both. Sorry. The first job I got when I was like in high school, I was already big into Blu-rays and such, and before that, even when I was in middle school, loved buying DVDs and all of that stuff. So it's always been a part of my life. And I would say in the past like 5-6 years, it's gotten to be the biggest it's probably ever been for me, just because of the discovery factor and the fact that the 4K discs are now a thing and everything like that. But I don't know, I just love to be able to, especially sometimes if you watch a movie, either you don't really care for it or you love it, you want to, you know, be able to go back to the special features, listen to the commentary, and above all else, I just want to see it in the best possible way. But I'm also not somebody that needs it in 4K, which we'll get to that in our discussion after we get to the announcements and whatnot. But yeah, I love physical media. I love how it showcases movies that people would not be able to see, or something like that, or even just movies that, you know, if it's like, oh, I never heard of that, but I bought that movie from this company and they do really good stuff, so I'll just give it a shot, and then you could potentially find a great movie out of that. So I think it's just really awesome the state of physical media is in right now, above all else.
Who are your go-to labels lately?
Well, right now, I'm trying to get a full collection of the AGFA movies. I'm also gonna buy the Bleeding Skull. Has only done 2 of them, but they worked with AGFA, so I'm getting every Bleeding Skull one, and then Saturn's Core also. So if a movie looks like absolute garbage, I'm gonna pay $30 for that shit. And then currently, right now, I'm also trying to get. Ryan, do you remember the Tartan Asian Extreme collection from like the? Yeah. So I'm trying to get all of those. I think I have like 62 out of 104. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see me posting the pictures, and you can see a man slowly regain his virginity every movie that I buy. So that's fun. But yeah, I just love that, because when I was a kid and saw those and saw Old Boy for the first time as a DVD from Tartan Extreme, it was just like, wow. And also a lot of those are movies that just don't exist. So it's just like, a lot of them could be a crapshoot. A lot of them could be just something just wild. But I mean, there's plenty of those that have Arrows have put out. So I'll, you know, there's that. The Infernal Affairs trilogy was a part of Tartan, and that's now on Criterion. The Ring trilogy, stuff like that. So that's been fun trying to get all of those above all else. Yeah.
Some of those were, I mean, it's wild. You could see like a month of releases from them go from literally one of the best movies all time to like the most just, why is anybody releasing this on DVD type of film?
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's been fun. And some of them, you know, have to import them from the UK. Some of them I'm not going to get the DVD. I'll just get the US Blu-ray equivalent, you know, as long as I get all the movies, and then I'm just going to binge all of them, and it's going to be great.
I love that. Speaking of those, let's talk about some recent pickups. You want to share, since you're the one talking, what you've been picking up lately?
Sure. Being that we just talked about it, I got the Critters collection, so that's fun. Just watched Critters 3 last night for the first time. And, you know, not a good movie, but guess what? The little guys are in there, so I was a fan of it. They spray flour on each other when they're just destroying every Critters movie has a scene where they're just in the kitchen just messing stuff up, and it's awesome. It will never not make me love those guys. Blood Lake from AGFA. Like I was saying, I was trying to get all
nice.
the AGFA ones. This was shot in Oklahoma in '87, I believe, but this hasn't made the jump to Blu-ray, so I got the DVD of that. And they're usually in here, so I'm just wanted to, show my love. I got 3 TerraVision releases: Attack of WNUF, Wood Chipper Massacre, and Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. Because anything shot on video is just ants to something sweet. I love it. What else we got here? UK release of The Royal Hotel. Had to grab that. I believe I got this from Germany. It was one of these, like, I had to wait like 2 months and just forgot about it and then got it in the mail. Thesis, the Amanda Bar movie.
Really want to see that.
It's like limited to like 444, and I have no idea how it's not sold out, but it has English subtitles, so I was good on that. And then today I got this in from Canada because it hasn't had a US release. At least I don't think so. I think it's only had a DVD release, but one of my favorites from last year, Blackberry. So
only blue in Canada, which makes 0 sense.
It was not cheap either, but yeah.
What about you, Charlie? Anything you picked up recently?
Yeah, so I indulged in the Kino Lorber sale that just ended about, what was it, a couple weeks ago? Yeah, so I thank you to my tax returns. I basically splurged on Out of Sight, the new 4K for Out of Sight, which is possibly, I think it might be my favorite Soderbergh, which, look, I know that's kind of a basic answer, but it's so good. It's one of the most rewatchable movies. I mean, George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez are just, I mean, like, it's one of the hottest movies ever made, and it's this one's approved and color graded by the cinematographer Elliot Davis, so I'm looking forward to revisiting that.
It looks amazing, by the way.
I'm so excited. I can't believe I haven't watched it yet. The Lady from Shanghai, arguably,
Nice.
maybe my favorite Orson Welles. I mean, the Funhouse Mirror climax, I still don't know. It was made in 1948, and I don't know how they were able to just pull that off. It's just unbelievable. I mean, yeah. Plus, you got Rita Hayworth in one of her best performances. Love that movie. Face Off. I mean, what else can I say about Face Off that hasn't already been said? It's
maybe the fact that there's rumored to be a sequel coming as of this week.
Really, I missed that.
Both of them coming back.
Wow, both of them.
You did again.
God damn it, I'm sorry. From the Grandmaster Adam Wingard, no less, who has given us such classics as...
I liked The Guest. I did like The Guest.
CC Charlie, here's the thing. That came out 10 years ago, okay? And I'm also doing this because that man took Blair Witch and was just like, what if I just make it bad?
Anyways. you have personal beef with him because of Blair Witch, which, look, I didn't like that movie either, but I do like The Guest. I mean, I would love it if John Woo could come back, but at least he's still doing stuff now. Even if I didn't
come back. Nobody liked it.
I know. I didn't dislike it as much as some people. I mean, Silent Night, not my favorite thing he's done, but I'm just glad he's working again. He's a master. One of my favorite filmmakers. Love him. This is also a 4K scan of the original 35mm negative.
Hot.
Yeah, just one of my favorite action movies. Can't wait to dive into this. Paths of Glory on 4K. I know there's a Criterion release of this. Because of the sale and because this is 4K, I decided to pick this up. I've only seen this one once, but I mean, it's Kubrick, and I watched it during the pandemic for the first time. So my memory of it, because I watched it probably like around the time the pandemic began, where it blurred in my mind with a bunch of other movies, but I remember the ending in particular really emotionally gutting me. And I mean, yeah, one of Kirk Douglas's finest hours. Great movie. And The Manchurian Candidate, the original, this is also 4K. The John Frankenheimer Manchurian Candidate. Loved this movie. Had one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had watching this movie at home, where I believe the calling card is to trigger the sleeper cell. Is it the Jack of Hearts or the Jack of Diamonds? It's like one of the red cards.
Yeah,
it's red. I remember I was watching it in my one of my older apartments, and an ambulance drove by with red flashing lights, just hitting the TV as
Came
that
to get your
happened.
ass. Yeah.
And I remember having one of those like moments, just like holy shit, like, and it really gave me chills. And yeah, the movie itself is incredible. I mean, Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Harvey, Janet Leigh, obviously. Angela Lansbury, of course. I want to get the Demi version too. I don't. Is it Kino that put out the Demi version as well?
Yep, I believe so.
Really?
Okay, because love the Demi version too. Very fascinating to watch it. I mean, I feel like that movie was ahead of its time in 2004. Now it's even more complex and fascinating. And I also got this was from actually a vinyl store. This wasn't part of the sale, but I was like, but it is Kino and I haven't watched it yet. I got this at Planet Records, which is a vinyl store in Harvard Square. This was $12. It was newly sealed. It's Scissors with Sharon Stone.
We've all seen it.
Which is directed by Frank de Filletta, who did The Entity, which is it's brutal and trigger warning. It's basically a film about Barbara Hershey being assaulted by unseen poltergeist, but that film gets under my skin and rattles me unlike few others. So it was enough of me for me to just pick this up and see what this one's all about, because I don't even think there's I think there might be 2 reviews for it on Rotten Tomatoes. There's nothing out about this one. Jeez. So excited to dive into this as well. I think it's kind of a 90s erotic thriller where Sharon Stone, it's the is she or isn't she losing her mind type of movie. Have you seen this one, Ryan?
A long time ago, and that sounds right. And it is about half price compared to what it's going for on Amazon, and I believe Sibner is correct. I think that one is going out of print.
Oh,
so if you want Scissors, you might want to grab that anytime soon.
Oh,
there you go.
No.
I love how, Charlie, you got great movies from the Kino sale, undeniable classics, and I got 10 Tartan DVDs that they were just what? Go ahead, take them. I don't care.
But all of those are movies I need to see, and I'm very much itching to see. I mean, Thesis in particular, I've heard that's just incredible. So.
Oh yeah, any movie about if the police are watching, just tune out. But any movie about snuff films, I'm gonna watch it. There's something just weird and cringy about it. It's the same reason why I'm just 8mm is not that bad, and people are just no, that movie's terrible. And I'm just yeah, but it's about snuff films, so I don't know.
My last week, I got in some Umbrella titles.
Holy shit, that is hot.
Since they announced it. And for anybody that hasn't, go ahead.
Is that the film? Who directed The Chaser? I'm sorry.
It is. I always get his name wrong, so I'll make sure I get it right. It is really tiny print, of course. Na Hong Jin.
Mm-hmm. That movie's twisted.
That's the guy who did The Wailing.
Back of it too.
Yes, that is. It's. Have you seen that, Brian?
It's beautiful.
Again, a long
The
time.
Wailing is. Yeah, that's hot.
The Wailing is amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this movie, The Chaser, is nuts. I completely interrupted you, Ryan. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I like questions. For anyone that hasn't seen these Umbrella ones, when you get the slip in from Umbrella and stuff, it's got this wraparound J card. And this J card is numbered.
That's hot.
A lot of people love to make sure that they get their limited numbers. And then with that, it's 3 for 3 or 3 free, whatever, from Umbrella. So or Orbit. So you got to get the third one. I got Them, which also came out around that same time. This movie is amazing. This is one of the French Extremity movies. This is a home invasion movie that goes a couple steps beyond that. And by the end, it turns into something that you probably did not see fully coming. Great movie if you've never checked it out. It's from 2007 or 8, I believe. But yeah, Umbrella, again, that little J card. It's got a little limited number on the back. And then to wrap it up, this was I believe at the time they were the cheapest place with this in stock. And I've completely fallen in love with everything Radiance over the last year since they started. This box set, it was a must. These movies you're probably never going to see released by anybody else. I mean, this art without the Obi, they do such incredible work with all of their attention to detail, all of the original art on the inside, everything in the Criterion style cases. I mean,
Great. Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
top of the line, the best you could possibly have.
Yeah. The last one I got from Radiance, I believe, is I the Executor, which that was one where I just saw the artwork and I was just like, please tell me the plot of this is as good as the artwork. And I read that and I was like, okay, I'm buying it. That's great.
Yeah, these are all great, and you should be able to get them. I believe Shinobi is getting close to going out of print for the limited version from Radiance.
Damn.
So if you want that, you might want to take a look sooner than later. The other two, I think there's still plenty available, and more coming from Australia.
Awesome.
How about some recent watches, Charlie? What have you been checking out lately?
Yeah, I guess I kind of spoiled it a little bit, but I recently saw, and I know Kevin, you just saw this today too, but I saw the TV Glow, the new film by Jane Schoenbrunn, and it's a film that has been haunting me. I saw it last weekend, and I have simply not been able to get this movie out of my head. It's about these two. They start off as teenagers. One is played by Justice Smith, and the other is played. I should have gotten this loaded up beforehand. The other is played by Bridget Lundy Payne, and they become obsessed with this late night TV show that very much is in the style of like old Nick at Night types of shows or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because they very much feel isolated and unable to connect with others around them, and then this show kind of becomes their entire life. And to give much more away would kind of be a spoiler, because it's one of those movies that I'd recommend going into completely blind and just having it wash over you and have you kind of get sucked into it like the characters are with the show. Jane Schoenbrunn gave an intro and Q&A, and they were absolutely incredible, and everything that they had to say about the film afterward only made me appreciate it more and made me feel like it's just such a rich personal film from them about finding solace in art and filling in forms of loneliness into like these weird niche forms of pop culture that help us feel less alone in the world. I know this all sounds extremely vague, but I promise if I gave away anything else, it would kind of be semi-spoilery. It's a film that I'm not even sure I fully understood all on one single viewing, but I can't wait to go back and revisit it. It's lots of images and moments from that film have sat with me throughout the week. And yeah, Kevin, what did you think of it?
I'm not sure. Like I said, I watched Critters 3 last night, and that was a fun time. I honestly don't. If I try to give I honestly do not know what I think about I Saw the TV Glow. I don't know. I don't know. I did not enjoy watching it, but I also feel like I'm just like, did I get it or did I get it? But I think that I didn't get it. It's one of those things where, but I loved Jane's previous movie. Not loved, but I mean, I really liked it, and it was just like, that's a great calling card movie of we're all going to the World's Fair. So this was my most anticipated movie of the year, and then I left being like, okay, well, I don't know. It's also not made for me, so I'm not gonna dunk on it. I don't think it's bad, but it's a lot, but it's also a lot for a lot of people that don't get a lot from movies, if that makes sense. So it's great that that's out there. Just because I didn't like it, who cares? But you know, she's that. Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of images in it that are gonna be sticking with me, even if I'm not fully a fan of it. So I will say that. But yes, did watch Critters 3. You know what Critters 3 does have? Critters. Okay, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I Saw the TV Glow. Try to do that. Okay.
But even to go back to that point, I felt like when I watched Critters after seeing I Saw the TV Glow, I was like, I bet Critters was like that TV show for those kids, for a lot of kids in the 80s. I really do. I'm like, I bet that, you know, Critters wasn't a huge success. A lot of people not passed it off as a Gremlins knockoff, but I'm sure that, like, you know, brought a lot of like joy to people who felt very isolated and alone and just interested in weird things.
I'm just imagining the characters from I Saw the TV Glow just like crying watching Critters, because it's just like those guys. Those
As
are
they're
a
tearing
reason to
apart their
live.
kitchen.
Yeah. Look at the way they eat meat. Oh, I hope they don't turn into a giant Critters ball. God damn it, they did it. They did it. Yeah.
Ryan, have you seen I Saw the TV Glow?
Not yet. Unfortunately, I've got 2 kids under 10, and that life doesn't exist for me until I can randomly assign my mom to come sit with the kids, and I leave the house for an hour and a half. But I'm dying to see it. And if you're like me and you've been trying to ingest all media about the movie because you're so excited to see it, Jane was able to do a Criterion Closet video that they put up today.
I saw the tease of that where they were talking about Freddy Got Fingered, and I was like, you are yes, let's go.
it was such like a humble showing of somebody that knows that they're in like this sacred place. Jane was just like shouting friends out, and like, I told them I'd pick this movie up for them, so let's talk about that for a minute. And it was great. It was such a fun video.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they got to do it.
They were so funny too. First off, even before the Q&A, I think before the movie started, they were like, by the way, some Q&As can be cringy, so I'm just going to say this right now. Trans voices to the front, please. Like, give everybody who's trans or non-binary a chance to ask their questions first, which, they all did, which was great. But someone also asked them, they were like, so obviously this is very personal, filmed for you. What, how did you come of age during this time period, and like what kind of people did you hang out with? And then they were like, well, I hung out with a lot of kids who were like basically goths and scene kids. And then they said at one point, a lot of people who were like, I'm not gay, I just like Bright Eyes. And I nearly fell out of my seat laughing as a kid who grew up in the closet and lied to their parents one time to go out to a Bright Eyes show. I was like, oh my God, they totally get our generation so well. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty perfect. Some recent watches in my side. I finally sat down and watched the brand new Indiana Jones movie. Both of you guys watched the 5th one yet?
You finally sat down and watched it.
It's an undertaking. It's almost like 3 hours long, and it feels like 7.
It's so goddamn long. It's so long. Yeah.
I don't have a thing against long movies, but this movie felt like 4 movies.
Yeah, I think I saw it last summer. I think I went to like a 10 o'clock screening, and I don't think I left until like 1 in the morning because of the trailers on top of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't love it. It was not the best thing I watched this week. I also sat down. We're doing an episode on M. Night Shyamalan on my other show soon, so I sat down with The Village, and that movie is way better than its reputation has out for it.
I've always loved that movie.
No Blu-ray for that, right?
No,
nothing yet. No, or for Lady in the Water.
Oh wow.
And The Village in particular, I mean, the cinematography in that movie is just stunning. I mean, regardless of whether or not you like that film, I don't think you can deny that it is shot and filmed like in such a painterly fashion. Like, God.
Well, it's Deakins, so it was gonna look amazing.
Yes.
No matter what. Let's see. I think I watched one more. I watched the comedy movie Pure Luck from 1991 with Martin Short and Danny Glover. Have either of you seen this one?
No.
What's this one?
So this is a remake of a French film with Gerard Depardieu, of somebody that the movie starts off with this random female. You have no idea who she is. She is flying into like this resort town, which it looks like it's in Mexico. And all of a sudden there's a couple just random terrible things that happen to her, and she disappears. And then the scene cuts, and you go to like an executive in downtown New York City, and he says he's been looking for his daughter for like 41 days or something like that. So she's been missing forever. And somebody in the company says, well, your daughter always has terrible luck. Just the worst things happen to her. I know somebody else like that. Let's bring him in. And it's Martin Short. And they prove right in front of this boss that he also has terrible luck. So he says, let's send Martin Short to the same place and just see what happens to him. And maybe he finds your daughter. And he takes Danny Glover, and it turns into this like almost buddy cop movie of them chasing down this daughter while terrible things happen for the next 94 minutes.
Oh
And
no.
of course, it's 1991, so in the end, of course, they're going to find the daughter, and it had to happen that way. But
Mhm.
it's the weirdest movie, and the funniest thing, this is the movie that inspired Martin Short to do Jiminy Glick. He's got a scene,
Really?
he's got a scene where he gets stung by a bee and inflates essentially, and wearing the fat suit is what inspired him to do the Jiminy Glick character.
And then there's a scene where he like interviews Jim Carrey or something like that, and you're like, this is really, really out of left field. What's going on here?
Yeah,
just-
it's the
I just looked up the poster for it right
Yep.
here.
Oh brother, look at those guys.
yeah, it's an odd one. At one point, Martin Short literally shoots Danny Glover.
Why?
It's an accident. He just has bad luck.
Oh no, that's like 3
Oh
minutes
no,
into
I
the
shot
movie.
the guy. That's all I've watched recently. Anything else we want to shout out before we get into the announcements? Any upcoming episodes that are special you want to highlight?
Yeah, we will be covering Critters 1 and Critters 2 here in the foreseeable future. I do not know. But then the end of our miniseries will be covering Nightmare on Elm Street 1 through 5. So that's the way that we're going to end it off, because those are all the ones that came out in the 80s. So that's going to be a huge undertaking, but boy howdy, it's going to be fun. And I think somebody is coming on for Nightmare on Elm Street. Who could that be?
Well,
Ryan, which one are you coming on for? I think it's 4, right?
yeah.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Speaking of that, you guys want to share any feelings on Nightmare on Elm Street finally having a 4K announced last week?
That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna get it, but but I mean, people are fucking going nuts for that, so I'm happy for those people. But I got the collection. That's all I need, and I'm good with that. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, hopefully, you'd think if like Scream Factory or somebody got the holds of like the rights that they would put out like a 4K box set. So I wonder, what is it going to be about doing another 4K box set, or is Warner Brothers going to do that themselves, or what? So I'm curious about how that turns out.
If I was a betting man, I'd bet that eventually they will have a full 4K box set. I bet they do all of them individually first over like the next 5 years, and then they do a box set. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Genuinely, from everything that I can, heartily recommend the Almost Major podcast. If you have not ever listened to it, go check out some of their newest episodes. Go check out some of your favorite movies. Find out what you can learn about them. Go listen to the newest episode where you hear them laugh about the name Nice Wiener 312 times.
Oh, that poor man. He has an Oscar. He's fine.
But now, let's get into some of our announcements. Starting off with a UK announcement of You Might Be the Killer from Treasured Films. This is coming in August on Blu-ray, and it's a bundle. Treasured Films has been doing this since the beginning. They've always got all kinds of trinkets with their stuff. What's crazy about this, though, is late last year they announced a subscription where they were going to be releasing 6 films in 2024.
Okay.
This is coming out in August, and this is the first movie they've released all year.
Got to start pushing them out. Yeah.
That worries me about your output a little bit.
Yeah.
Charlie, have you even heard of this movie? I have
No.
not heard of this movie.
Mm-mm.
Allison Hannigan's here. She might be the killer. We don't know.
This is from 2018, and she is underused. This movie is not that great. Yeah, unfortunately, it was a bit of a letdown. She's hardly in the movie. I wish they could have. Next up, I'm hoping you guys have seen this one. Nightmare Beach coming on 4K from Kino Lorber on July 16th as part of the Kino Cult line. What's interesting about this one? No HDR and no new features. So if you've got the Blu-ray that's been literally $7.99 for the last like 4 years from them, this is a simple resolution upgrade to 4K, and that's it.
Yeah. I've not seen this. John Saxton, this poster alone is just like, yeah, I'll take 9 tickets, but I have not seen it yet. But this seems right up my alley. But yeah, if you have the Blu-ray, you're fine. You're fine. And Michael Parks. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching this tonight. That's
yeah. I haven't seen this unfortunately either, but it's certainly on my list.
This movie is surprisingly good.
Hell
Really
yeah.
recommend this for anybody. And if you don't have the Blu-ray, get the 4K. This is a perfect opportunity
Well,
to get the best release of it. I just want to know why Studio Canal's not doing HDR on some of these titles.
very odd.
Yeah.
because they are releasing another one that we're going to talk about in a minute and did the exact same thing. The next Kino Lorber title is The Lonely Man from 1957. This is coming soon on Blu-ray. When soon? Who knows? But this got Jack Palance and Anthony Perkins. It's
There we go.
Perkins movie. I got to see this.
Yeah, I've never even heard of this, but yeah, Anthony Perkins. I mean,
Same.
I will watch pretty much anything Anthony Perkins, especially like his later period stuff where he was trying to wash the psycho off of him, but still doing stuff like Edge of Sanity and stuff like that. I'm just here for all that. Interesting.
The crazy thing about this, Paramount did a 6K scan of the OCN. And
What?
they're still not as invested in this as they could be and are only putting it out on Blu-ray. They could still upgrade it by the time they release it, but yes, they are only doing a Blu-ray release of this. Happens. It's not the first time, but if you're willing to put that much into the restoration, you would think you would want a little bit of that money back.
Yeah, it's a thing of like, places like Kino where they just put out like fucking like 9,000 titles a month, where you think it were just like, it's not something where it's like, like a smaller label where it's just like, well, a 4K costs like $10 more or 10 times as much. Like, we can't just put everything out on 4K. You got to realize that. But it's like Kino has been pretty much putting anything on 4K. So I not don't know why. Maybe they did a poll and it was just like, would you like The Lonely Man on 4K? And it was just like, what? I mean, I guess I'll buy it on Blu-ray. What is it? Anthony Perkins? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yes, it was filmed in VistaVision, which is why it got the 4K. It definitely needed it. It'll look beautiful, guarantee.
Oh yeah.
This was a random out of nowhere from Kino. They are doing Bad Boys on 4K. This is the 1983 movie directed by Rick Rosenthal with Sean Penn and S.I. Morales. Anybody seen this one?
I have not, but I've definitely been wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
I saw speaking of Sean Penn, I saw a trailer before I saw the TV Glow for a movie with him and Dakota Johnson, where apparently it takes place all in a taxi cab, and it's called Daddy-O, and it looks like a fake-ass Tropic Thunder trailer. Like, I don't understand what is going on.
What? I have never heard of this.
I never heard of it either. But like, it was like I saw the TV Glow trailer, cuckoo, horror movie, this horror movie, this horror movie, and then this, which looks like it's made for perfume. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's insane. But Bad Boys, yes, I'll watch it. Yeah.
I want to say that a Tropic Thunder looking trailer is one of the best insults I've heard in a long time.
I use it very often.
Election
Hell
from 1999 is getting a 25-year anniversary 4K release from Paramount as part of their Paramount Presents lines. This is going to look amazing in 4K. It's Alexander Payne. If you like Alexander Payne, if you've never seen this, you're probably going to love it. This movie is fantastic. I heard a hell yes. Everybody liked this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't have the criterion of it, so I'm going to pick this up for sure.
Yeah, same. I think the last time I watched this was in 2016, right before the election, weirdly enough.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
It's definitely going to play differently, because I remember watching it being like, oh, right. Like, the first time I saw it, I was a teenager and didn't put two and two together that, Reese Witherspoon's basically Hillary Clinton. And then watching it in 2016, it was like, oh wow, holy shit. And then now I'd say this and Citizen Ruth are probably my favorite Alexander Payne.
Citizen Ruth rules. Also doesn't have a Blu-ray.
No. I kind of miss, I liked the Holdovers. I kind of miss when Alexander Payne was even more even meaner, I guess. I feel like there was like a darker streak in his early 90s stuff, or even early aughts stuff, that I do miss from his work. That's a little more sentimental now, I guess. I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
No, of the ones that I've seen, I definitely like Election and Citizen Ruth are my favorite, and everything else I'm just like, okay. But Election is just, oh my god, it's so good. So good.
When I posted the announcement, we didn't have a picture of the packaging yet, but this is what it's going to look like. And for those that don't know, which I had some people in the Discord talking about this, so they weren't aware, the Paramount Presents line, when it comes out like this with the fold-out poster and everything, these are all limited to 6,000 each. And for a popular movie, those can go kind of fast. I think only a couple titles have sold completely out of print, but most of the time, they are releasing just standard editions after this. Usually it's like it'll probably be the original poster art that you see on the left as the Blu-ray cover or 4K cover eventually. But yeah, the other thing is, as Sibner is saying, these pretty much never go on sale on Amazon. There's usually like a 1-day Paramount Presents sale every year. But other than that, be prepared to probably shell out $35 for this.
Interesting. Yeah. I think, oh goodness, what was it about that I was going to say? Oh, I forget. Anyways.
So yeah, election. I don't remember if I said the date. So that is coming July 30th. June, July, I feel like are about to be some heavy hitters for a lot of people that are liking these movies. So
awesome.
Just be prepared. July 16th, Paramount
fucking finally
the SpongeBob SquarePants movie on a 4K steelbook. Is the fucking finally in earnest, or is that sarcasm?
No, I'm just joking. I mean, I saw this when it came out. It's a fun time, but I'm just thinking of the person that's just like my bucket list, the ones that I need: SpongeBob movie, and I need SpongeBob movie. That's all I need on 4K. Everything else you can keep it. But I mean, it's cool.
I love the SpongeBob movie. I saw it with my whole family in theaters back in the day.
Damn right you did.
I've seen this movie 3 times this year alone, thanks to kids. But as I was going to say, if you ever want to find out if anybody is earnestly saying, like, finally, I've wanted this forever, go look at the Facebook comments for the Disconnected about this. There are, I think, more shares than anything else I've shared in like the last 6 weeks.
Wow.
With people literally saying day one for sure.
That's funny. Like one of your last episodes when you talked about the South Park movie going to 4K, I think there was an air of like, who needs this? And I was listening to it. I was like, me, I need it.
Yeah.
Because that's a gorgeous looking movie, like the animation style. So, and I don't have the Blu-ray. If I had the Blu-ray, probably not. But being that I don't, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's mine. That's mine.
Well, and just wait for that expanded color palette. That's going to be a big deal.
Isn't Scarlett Johansson in the SpongeBob movie?
She sure is.
Yeah, as a mermaid. Obviously, David Hasselhoff. I mean, of course.
And then, of course, our problematic duo of Alec Baldwin and Jeffrey Tambor. Too.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a 1-2 punch of greatness. Yeah. I'm seeing here in the comments, Charlie, this is just for you. I'd like a 4K of an Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie. That's
Yes, please. Yes. I don't even think that has a Blu-ray release either, does it?
I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
Only DVD. Ragnar says this is a nice steelbook, and I got to admit, this is probably going to look amazing in the hand. Yellow on steelbooks always looks really good.
Hell yeah.
But enough SpongeBob. Let's watch me click the wrong thing. And talk about Nicolas Cage and Arcadian. Did either of you guys see this yet this year?
No.
Okay.
What is this?
This is genuinely, supposedly amazing. It's like a apocalypse movie, I think. July 23rd, Blu-ray from RLJE. And the synopsis says, in a near future, normal life on Earth has been decimated. Paul and his 2 sons, Thomas and Joseph, have been living a half-life, tranquility by day and torment by night. Every night after the sun sets, they face the unrelenting attacks of a mysterious and violent evil. One day when Thomas doesn't return home before sundown, Paul must leave the safety of their fortified farm to find him. A nightmarish battle ensues that forces the family to execute a desperate plan to survive. And supposedly it's got great creatures. Have not seen this yet, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've not heard of this, but the guy who directed it did visual effects for Everything Everywhere All at Once, so that's something. So
yeah,
cool. That's a big something.
I love Nicolas Cage. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Jaden Martell is in this movie. Henry,
there you go.
From the Book of Henry.
That's
who that is on the cover. Okay.
This just went from maybe I'll check it out to day one purchase. That's great. Okay.
Nice. End of the world creature feature, says Brent. The rolling creatures reminded me of Critters. There you go.
Oh, don't tell me that.
At least they show the monster creatures in this one, and it was a fun watch. Reminded me of A Quiet Place a bit.
And you've lost me. Okay, continue. No, that definitely checks out. That I can only pre-order it so fast. I'm sorry, Brent. Yeah.
The next one that I've not heard good things about. This summer, Sony is releasing Tarot on Blu-ray. Did either of you guys go to this one yet?
I have been joking in our group chat that I'm going to, and I need to watch this garbage. I can't wait to watch this. I've made a resolution. I have a letterbox list of every wide release horror movie from about 1974 So if it went to 600 theaters or more, I'm trying to watch. So unfortunately, this went to over 600 theaters. So I got to watch Tarot. Yeah.
I have not seen it, but I have a coworker who saw it who was like, it was terrible. I had such a good time.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, sold.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna double feature this and The Strangers Chapter 1 like this weekend. Just a double feature of just garbage. Let's go.
How many chapters in that? Is it
3 of them.
Yeah.
They're coming out within like 6 months. Who asked for this?
I'm just imagining. I haven't seen The Strangers Chapter 1 yet, but I just imagine Chapter 1 is like, we're coming into your house, and then Chapter 2 just starts off, and they're like, all right, we're in your house now.
We're almost there.
Chapter 3 is like, all right, bye. Yeah. No, I think it was a tweet like a week ago. There was just like I don't know if it was the director. The director is Rennie Harlan, who's doing all 3. What is happening? By the time we cover Nightmare on Elm Street 4, we'll be able to talk about some Chapter 1, 2, and 3 news. But it was a thing. It was like one of the producers or him said, "We will finally learn the identity of Tamara." And like, which is the girl that the strangers go up to the house to ask about. And I'm just like, who the fuck was asking about that?
No, nobody.
Because the thing is that woman doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But no. We're gonna find out, and I'm sure it's gonna rock our worlds. Okay.
We had somebody ask, is there anyone that has done more films than Nicolas Cage, or even 2 people combined? And then Silent Mandible responded with Danny Trejo, which coincidentally, it's his 80th birthday today. Happy birthday!
Hell
Danny
yeah!
Trejo.
Oh wow, what a birthday indeed!
His greatest performance was in Anaconda in 1997. Happy birthday to that man.
He was pretty good in that one episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Did he get eaten by a giant snake in that episode? I don't think he did.
His head was on a turtle,
and then
a tortoise.
Yes, and then it exploded.
Yes,
it caused a ripple effect for Hank's PTSD throughout the rest of the series. Yeah.
Okay. I'm weighing the cons. Okay. Yeah, I think that wins.
Next up, June 3rd, the UK is getting a Blu-ray release from Screenbound Entertainment of the Taviani Brothers collection. Now, this is probably going to be an inferior release. This was released previously by Arrow a long time ago now, like 5 years ago. This might have been an Arrow Academy release. But the big thing is that Arrow Academy release had the same 3 films on 3 different discs, and Screenbound is putting 3 films on 2 discs. This is likely going to be compressed to just way less quality than it should be, because these are beautiful movies and it will look a lot worse.
How did they sleep at night? I have no idea. That's ridiculous.
Good question.
At least one movie on 1 disc. I mean, some studios do it where it's like, where it's just like 2 movies that like you should be glad that we're even putting it on Blu-ray, so we're going to stick it on 2 discs. Or it's like me and Charlie both have, because we're, not right in the brain, we have Identity and Vacancy on 1 disc, and that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's asking for 2 discs for that. Okay. These are movies that like demand that type of thing. I haven't seen them, but it's just like, nobody's just like, oh, the bit rate on Identity is just way nobody cares. Okay. You got Identity. That's all that matters.
I'm very tempted to pull the announcement down and literally just talk about how great Identity is for the next 43 minutes.
Yes!
Identity is amazing.
Movie is dumb as hell. I love it.
I love that movie so much.
Same. Oh,
now,
it's
Vacancy,
incredible.
Vacancy, also a movie about snuff movies, so I got to count that out. But
That's
that movie
true.
is just dirty and awesome, and it's so good.
It's a lean, underappreciated little movie. Yeah.
Who's my man with the glasses in the Vacancy?
Shit, who is it?
That guy's awesome. Somebody in the chat will probably know, even though.
Glasses.
Yeah, he's the hotel owner.
Oh
Yeah.
God, who is that? I haven't seen that movie in a couple of years. That movie's fun.
Yeah.
Ish.
Identity, I'm so glad you love that movie too, Ryan. I have such a funny relationship with it because I remember watching it all the time on HBO when I was in like middle school and thinking it was like, this is the most ingenious like twist-filled film. And now everything that I thought was smart about that movie, I now am like, just like, oh, it's so endearingly wonderfully stupid. I love it. Like, but it knows, like, it's funny how like your relationship with a movie like that can turn into like, oh no, this movie always knew how silly it was and it loves all of that, those ridiculous tropes of that it completely has fun playing around with, and everybody seems to be in on the joke without winking too much. And I feel like we don't get enough. I mean, we don't get enough movies like that, period, but also like the cast of that thing, and for just unparalleled. Like,
that cast is insanity. That man I was thinking of is Frank Whaley, who just kills it in that movie.
yeah.
Ethan Embry shady as fuck in that movie too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Humboldt Horror Honey says, Kevin, are you excited for the Severin Killing for Culture doc from Kayla Janice? Have you seen that was coming yet?
I saw that announcement. That is 1000% getting ordered. Yes, 1000%. I just got the what's the box set? A House of Psychotic Woman that she helped curate, and I'm very excited to go through that.
Did you watch what is it called? The old Severin documentary that they did on Blue like a decade ago, The Killing in America?
I picked that up when I was in New York. Yeah, that is I don't know why I picked that up. I'm not just gonna be like, hey, it's Friday night, let me throw on Killing of America with actual deaths in it. But it's striking, that's for goddamn sure. So I'm happy to own it.
It's a depressing goddamn movie when you notice nothing has changed since that was released.
No.
45 years ago or whatever.
And I think what is it? Paul Schrader's brother directed that or co-directed that or something like that. Oh, Stan.
Oh boy.
Oh man, we'll get to the announcement soon. When I was in Boston hanging out with my man Charlie here, we went to the archive in Connecticut, and I saw the August Underground movies when I was in high school because that's when you watch them. But I saw that they had August Underground's Mortem on Blu-ray, and me and Charlie were talking about something. I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this just as a fuck you to somebody. That's all I'll say. But I rewatched it. Yes, yes, that movie is effective as hell. There's a big difference between the characters being hateful and the director being like, I hate these characters type of thing. I don't sense any hate from the director. It's not easy to watch, that's for sure, but it feels way too damn real. Saw it as a child, me and you both. That's right. Scrapbook, I do have that Blu-ray. I will be watching that. That's the thing. It's a fine line for me for those type of movies where it's like faux snuff movies where I'm not where on one side is this director hates women and the other side is like something that's not that. Scrapbook kind of looks to be on that first side I was seeing, but I'm definitely interested in that. But yeah, August Underground's Mortem, that is, if you have a stomach for it, it's pretty good. No, I don't watch real snuff movies. Okay, let's get to the announcement. Jesus Christ.
All right. June 25th, Media Blasters is compiling some of their discs into a release of the Machine Girl Chronicles. It's got Rise of the Machine Girls and Machine Girl Jack. Unfortunately, this does not have all of the extras on their single releases, so if you love the Machine Girl Chronicles, you probably just want to stick with the other releases of this.
Damn. I haven't seen these, but these are the biggest, like you see the poster and it's just like you're either in or you're out, and yes, I'm in.
Next, And Soon the Darkness, another depressing movie. This movie is coming on July 5th on 4K Media Book in Germany from Camera Obscura, who I've not heard anything from for quite some time. We've got two different cover options coming on this, and both similar, both very different vibe though.
Yeah.
Very different feelings conjured by both of these. This movie, if you've never seen it, this is all the way back from 1970 and says, young English nurses Jane and Kathy are on a cycling holiday in the French countryside. They happen upon a mysterious man named Paul who seems interested in them, of course. Kathy is intrigued by the man, but suspicious Jane wants to continue on the journey. The two split apart after arguing the point, but when Jane returns to the village where they're staying, her friend is nowhere to be found. Frantic, she searches for Kathy. Will she find her in time? Lots of archival extras on this, but the big thing, this is the first 4K release of this anywhere in the world, and should look good.
Yeah, I'm sold. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, an awful mock-up of a Paramount Steelbook. August 6th, we are getting a Collateral 4K Steelbook. This is literally the exact same disc as prior. I think the first one was released in like 2020, and now it's just
Mhm.
being put in a steelbook. Yay, repackaging.
I do own the version they put out in 2020, and this movie looks absolutely unreal on 4K. Like, good
Really?
lord.
The reason because I already have the Blu-ray, and the reason why I was just like, does it really need a 4K? Because it's like has that early digital shots
It
for a
does.
lot of the night scenes. So I was like, how is that gonna? Even that being said, if they put like Clerks on 4K and bind it day one, so I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
no, like when Michael Mann works digitally, I'm such a sucker for that aesthetic. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite Michael Manns too. It was, I know for a fact it was my first. Yeah, it was it was a fun movie to watch. I remember my dad had not seen it, but my dad's getting big into 4Ks too, and this was one that I was happy to bring over. And he was just, I mean, the club scene alone, my dad was just like, oh my god, like
So good.
just incredible stuff.
Not a day goes by that I don't think of Yo Homie. Is that my suitcase? It's just so good, so good. Good stuff.
Tom Cruise is so it's funny too. You never, Tom Cruise is simultaneously so funny and so scary at the same time. Like,
So good.
yeah.
Dog, remember when Audio Slave needle drops in this movie? 10 out of 10. Let's get out of here.
In a Michael Mann movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Tom Cruise is talking about being a lone wolf, and then it shows a lone wolf, I was just like, I'm not going to dock you for points because this movie's cool, but that's kind of funny. But yeah,
in the chat, Sibiner is saying, heard this 4K was not good. It's pretty damn good. It's not a perfect 4K, but it's pretty damn great, actually.
I thought it looked good, but I'm not maybe I'm not nearly as enlightened.
You do reviews for 4Ks, Charlie. So once you yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. It's just like I remember when the Goodfellas 4K came out, people were like, this is an awful 4K. And then years later, people were like, no, this is actually really great. You just saw reviews of people that were nitpicking it to death. It looks a lot better than the Blu-ray. So I always thought for years that don't get Goodfellas on 4K. And now I'm just like, well, damn it, I should have got Goodfellas on 4K. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
There's legitimately only like 15 that are so bad that you should just absolutely stay away from.
All of them have been put out by Full Moon Pictures. Okay.
Full Moon and Disney.
I mean, those are the yin and yangs of all movie studios right there, man.
Next, the first Omen from this year is getting a Blu-ray on July 30th. We got some featurettes coming on this, including some conversations with the director. Good looking release. Unfortunately, it is a Fox title, which means it will not be getting a 4K. There's a lot of people that are saying that this, because it's not coming in 4K, they'll never buy it.
Ridiculous. We'll get to that later, but yeah, this movie is awesome. It's really fucking awesome. The director, I think this is her first movie, and it just, my God, there is shots in this that have stuck with me. There's some scary ass shots. And this cover actually kicks ass. Like, it doesn't look like put together garbage or anything like that. Like, I'm definitely probably gonna pick this up. And if a 4K comes out, you know what? I'll sleep okay at night. It's okay. It's all good. Okay?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was sad to have missed this one in theaters, but I'll certainly be giving this a look once it hits Blu-ray. Yeah.
I was going to hit the same thing as Kevin. This cover art, juxtapose that with what we just saw for Arcadian and how that looked like some DirecTV bullshit. And both of them are fairly well-reviewed films. But why not put just a little more effort into it like this one?
And I don't even think this was used as a poster. This is exclusive to the Blu-ray. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Might have been an international poster or something.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, I can't. Oh, Jesus Christ. From one classic to another, a movie that unfortunately I have seen. Okay.
September 10th.
This isn't on 4K? Fuck off. Get out of here.
But it is supposedly a new remaster of the fully uncut version of the film Doll Graveyard from 2005. Why don't you tell us about Doll Graveyard?
I don't remember. I was like 13 when I saw this. I saw it amongst the other Charles Band doll movies. That this was shot on 35. This looks like it was shot on a film camera, the flip camera back in the day. Like, I don't remember this at all. I watched this at the same time I watched like Ginger Dead Man and like stuff like Peter Rottentail, like just garbage. What was I doing?
I'm gonna look up because I didn't think this was shot on film. I love that they use OCN in this, but we'll see.
They're trying to get the Vinegar Syndrome audience. It's like, oh, a remaster from the 35 negative. It's like, no, this movie looks like it was shot on like early HD, from what I remember.
Charles Band in 2005, and he's shooting on film still.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I don't have it listed. Yeah, it's not on IMDb Pro. Great. Because they're hiding something.
Oh, no, I had so much more to talk. No, I'm kidding.
July 9th, Kino is releasing 3 titles that have been released previously on imprint. Come Back Little Sheba from 52, The Country Girl 54, and The Rose Tattoo from 55. We had already talked about these, so I won't go into too much depth on these. These were just revealed a couple weeks ago, but the big thing is The Rose Tattoo has a new commentary on here. The other 2 are using the special feature commentary that was on the imprint release, and that's it. A lot of people they had these already because of imprint. Any love for these classic cinema releases or any actors in these particular?
I'm sad to say, yeah, I'm sad to say I haven't seen any of these, but I will certainly be looking out for them when they eventually come out. Because and Burt Lancaster is in 2 of them.
Yeah,
damn right.
Yeah,
and then the other one is Bing Crosby and Grace Kelly. So it's a pretty good 3-pack.
Yeah.
Wim Wenders' Perfect Days from from this year, I guess. This is getting a 4K release in the UK from Mubi. This has already been released, coming in the US from Criterion. But glad it's getting UK release over there. Mubi does pretty great work. They got a Q&A with the director. There's a short film on here called Somebody Comes to the Light and a booklet. I am not sure if the short film is on the Criterion release. I probably should have looked that up before I talked about this. But Wim Wenders, anybody love Wim Wenders?
Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
No, I feel like I've only seen like the greatest hits of his filmography. I mean, I love Paris, Texas. I love Wings of Desire. I did see the 5-hour director's cut of Until the End of the World, which I respected and admired more than I enjoyed, but I was very grateful to have caught that at the Harvard Film Archive too. It was able to see it in a theater, which definitely for the best, because I'm sure I would have been distracted watching it at home. This is one of the movies I felt really Perfect Days is one of the movies that I felt really bad that I still have not seen, and I missed. I think it counted for awards last year, and I remember trying to fit it in before we voted in our critics year-end awards, and I missed it. But I do know that it's it's a movie that even my parents have seen and were like, how have you not seen this yet? It's so good. And this is not their type of movie. They usually are very focused on like plot-based, fast-paced stuff. And even my mom was like, you are going to adore this thing. And it also, I've been talking to some friends at the Coolidge. This thing has stuck around in art house cinemas, and in particular the Coolidge, for I think since like February of this year, and it is now May when we're recording this. So it's really,
it's got legs.
Yeah, it's got legs. It's hit really hard. Capture the hearts of audiences everywhere, it seems. And definitely on my list of things to catch up with. So
amazing. Gotta love that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but we covered Wim Wenders when we did Buena Vista Social Club on the pod. So get some Wenders talk on that.
Yeah,
nice. Next up, I did an interview that I put out this week with Brandon Bentley. He is one of the masterminds behind the Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest box set that came out last year. Give it a listen if you haven't. This one, I won't say too much on it, but it is a long interview. This was over 2 hours, and I've had people commenting that they want him to come back every single month just to talk about his knowledge on martial arts. So
hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I still can't believe this movie is coming to 4K. July 15th, the UK is getting a 4K steelbook from Studio Canal of Soldier Blue from 1970. This is coming out in other territories at Studio Canal, so they've got rights for most of the world, probably. There is a German version coming out around the same time, same week. But I do want to say that primarily because if you are a purist, the UK version is definitely going to be cut. They're definitely taking out the horse falls, and then supposedly when it got regraded recently, they're taking out a scene that said there's potential indecent images with a child, but there's nothing indecent with the child in this movie, so I don't know what's going on there.
Oh wow, that's ooh. That's a lot.
Yeah. So
Candace Bergen playing a Native American. Okay.
and she's got a new interview on the disc, so I'm very curious to check that out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the steelbook cover. I'm not a big steelbook guy, but that looks nice.
Looks very nice. Unfortunately, a lot of people already have this from Kino Lorber. This has been on sale for like $8 for the last 4 years.
Oh, there you
go. Not on 4K. This will be the first 4K release of it, but yeah. Michael Smith is asking, are there any films that have gone from VHS to 4K with no Blu-ray or DVD? Quite a few, actually.
Probably some Vinegar Syndrome titles for sure.
Like 5 or 8 of the Vinegar Syndrome has made the leap from VHS to 4K.
Pot.
Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed that we'll get Gregor Rocky's Nowhere at some point. I know they just had that 4K transfer. But I don't think that ever got a DVD release. And I had to
the DVD for that, like every time I've seen it, they looked like off-brandy bootlegs, so I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I know that 4K is playing in repertory theaters around the country right now, so fingers crossed that there will be some kind of release down the line like they did with Doom Generation, or at least
yeah.
But yeah,
you probably know better than me. Was Doom Generation not a 4K scan?
It might not have been. I think it was a 4K restoration, but it might not have been a 4K Blu-ray.
It was
only a
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling they would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Cinema Jimbo is talking about those 3 Kino titles that we're talking about. Yes, Kino site references 2021 and later 4K scans by Paramount. They are the exact same scans from Imprint because those all have came out in the last 18 months. Literally, it's the same thing. They're just licensing those specific restorations from Paramount themselves. Kino's not doing brand new restorations themselves on those. And neither did Imprint. This one I've heard great things about. August 27th, Magnolia, which we don't hear a lot from nowadays either. We're getting a Blu-ray from them of What You Wish For. This is the Nick Stahl film from last year. Did you get to see this?
No, I didn't even know Nick Stahl was in a new movie. I've kind of been wondering where he's been recently.
I've heard this was like some people's favorite films from last year.
Really?
Says Ryan, played by Nick Stahl, is a talented, down-on-his-luck chef with a crushing gambling problem. Circumstances being what they are, he leaves town in a hurry for the safe haven of an unnamed Latin American country, where his friend Jack, a more prestigious chef with his own unique troubles, welcomes him into his home. Ryan has no idea how Jack's able to afford his extravagant lifestyle, cooking for the elite in paradise. He doesn't want to feel envious, yet he can't help but want this life for himself as well. Soon, a grim twist of fate will give that to him. Ryan assumes his friend's identity and soon discovers just what Jack's been doing to maintain the lifestyle he so desperately craved. And I've heard everybody say you should watch this and The Menu in the same night.
I was about to say, it sounds very menu-y.
Yeah. And it was by the guy who did The Perfect Host, which I never saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a silly movie that needs to be reassessed.
That's a silly ass film. Interesting.
Yeah, this is supposed to be great. Eager to see it. Here's probably the biggest one for the week. Severin came out of nowhere and announced Danza Macabra Volume 3, the Spanish Gothic collection. This is coming to their site in mid-June. If you order from them, if you order from other retailers, it'll come a little bit later. This is going to have Cross of the Devil,
beautiful,
Cake of Blood,
mm-hmm.
Necrophagus,
mm-hmm.
and The Night of the Walking Dead. And they've got all kinds of special features on these, audio commentaries, appreciations by the head of programming at the Sitges Film Festival over in Spain. There is more because there's so many special features, had to go into multiple posts. We've got interviews with some of the actors in these, with some of the filmmakers. A lot of people involved in all of these films are on these discs. It's pretty damn great. We got a video essay by Xavier Aldana Reyes, who is an author. We've got commentary with Kat Ellinger on The Night of the Walking Dead. We've got just everything, like video essays on almost every film. We've got an appreciation by the head of Sitges on every single movie. And I love what Severin has done with these box sets.
Yeah, the only box set I think I have from them was the House of Psychotic Woman, but yeah, the care that they put into the movies and just the presentation is unmatched. It's good stuff. I haven't heard of any of these movies, but I mean, just it's Severin, so I might take a chance on it, but I might not. But
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just missed that. Oh, someone just mentioned that Nick Stahl's been dealing with. Oh shit. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, drug or alcohol addiction.
Oh.
Yeah, as part of this Danza Macabre announcement, if you pre-order part 3, you can get part 1 and 2 for half price if you order it all in the same order. And it's a pretty significant discount. This one, if you order this one, you get this one for 75, and then part 2, I think with the discount was like 65. So shipped, it was like 140 all in, and the second volume was the big one because it came with one 4K title, and so it was a little more expensive than the first one.
Yeah, I recently got with the Severin sale. I forget where it was. I think it was MVD that had a sale or something like that. That's where I got that box set and a few other stuff. But when they do have sales, they're pretty good. But yeah.
I sadly don't have much Severin at all, even though there's quite a few things that they put out that I want. The 4K of Dennis Hopper's Out of the Blue being number 1 at the top of my list. There's some, when I volunteered for the Boston Underground Film Festival several years ago, it's still, the festival itself is still going on and great, and you should absolutely support it. Run by amazing people, put on great every single year they find the very niche horror comedy types of films that don't get spotlights anywhere else, really. And they're shown at the Brattle Theater in Cambridge. It's a great festival. They've sold some Severin releases pretty much every year, and I think that one of the ones that I blindly bought was The Sinful Dwarf, which I've never seen and have only heard insane things about. But that is somewhere in this apartment. I do have a copy of Severin's release of The Sinful Dwarf.
That sounds like a movie. That sounds like a movie that would be a good double feature with something I got from the Severin sale last time, which was The Masturbating Gunman. So there's that.
Yeah, Sinful Dwarf is that's a tough one to have as your only blind buy from Severin. I do want to say I don't want to be too coy or piss anybody off, but I know a couple of the things coming from Severin this year. I would say start saving some money because Severin is going to blow some minds over the next 10 months. So
like some Cemetery Man-esque announcements.
I probably shouldn't say anything else, but I'm very excited about
Ryan,
it.
there's a red dot on your head. Please say no more. Okay.
Eager to get a second mortgage soon, so we shall see.
Hot.
Spaghetti says, "Don't base all of Severin on Sinful Dwarf and Masturbating Gunman, please."
Hey, I was not saying that either of us don't buy them because they put out those movies. I buy them because they put out those movies. Okay.
Oh yes, and again, this is something I'm working on. I know this is an issue of mine.
Well, and I will say, everybody should have the Severin Folk Horror box set. That is, one of the most important physical media releases ever, literally.
Yeah, for just that documentary alone, that makes it worth it.
Yeah, I've heard
documentary's amazing.
Nothing but amazing things, and have friends who have it, and been on my list for a while. Definitely going to pick that up at some point whenever I can.
The one of the newer labels on the block, Not Quite Reality, who is a label that focuses on found footage. They are putting out a film called Lights Over Montgomery County. I know a lot of people are anti-BDR, but I really want to just give a heads up. A lot of indie labels can't do anything but BDR, unfortunately. And they hold up just fine compared to press discs. This thing is going to have a lot on here. If you order from their website, they've got like an exclusive slipcover you can get. There's some art cards, some posters, and the art looks pretty dang good for this. And I've heard the movie's pretty great. But yeah, they focus on found footage. They've got a lot of stuff that you can get with this, and it's all pretty cheap. And Jason over there does great to pack everything super well. Highly recommend checking out Not Quite Reality if you love found footage.
Yeah, I heard about them a few months ago, and from the title that's a Blair Witch reference, I was just like, yeah, I'm in. But I haven't heard of this, and best described as an homage to homemade shot on video movies in the 80s. I have already bought 3 copies. Thank you so much. That's great.
And this is shipping as of this week. So if you really want it, get your order in now.
Nice.
The Physical Media Advocate, which I just so happen to have the latest issue. If you want to be in this,
Beautiful.
write a letter, send me an email. I'm trying to print more and more people in there. If you send something in, I only got 1 or 2 from this newest issue that's coming out in the middle of June. So send me that. And also, if you know any like smaller mom and pop local physical media carriers that you would love to see this in the store, let me know. As of next week, I think we're going to be in like 5 or 6 different states with the magazine. We've got
Hell
all
yeah.
kinds of stores going to be carrying this, so check it out.
I'm waiting until I'm not paying off like 19 different Klarna payments before I buy all of the Physical Media Advocates, and I can't wait to go through all of those.
I had a mind-blowing moment this week. My friend Jeremy, that's on the show all the time, he's gonna be on next week, by the way. He went up to talk to somebody that was on the show previously, and this director said, "Oh yeah, I've got all the Physical Media Advocates." And I was just like, "Wait,
Woo!
what?" Somebody is buying a director of movies I love is buying the magazine. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's all you can ask for.
The Primevals. We've talked about this twice already in the last couple months. Full Moon did this special super pre-order edition of this release, and this is going to be a 3-disc ultimate collector's edition of the Primevals. This is a movie that they're calling from 2023 because that's when they finished it, but this was started 30 years ago. And this comes in a leather and metal case with 6 postcards, a couple enamel pins, a theatrical cut of the movie, the David Allen cut of the movie, which is the original director, and then a big making of documentary that's not available on the standard release of this. So if you want the documentary, which a lot of people probably will, this is the one to get. They are charging $120 for this release. And,
Interesting. That is a price.
It will be signed by Charles Band because, of
Oh.
course. He's also claiming that he was only doing 100 of these, but then he also said, "And when those sell out, then we'll make some more." So this will be
the
on sale
Shout
for a
Factory
while.
method. Okay.
But he admitted to it beforehand.
Oh, that's true. That would be funny if you said I'm only doing 1,827 copies, like that they do. Okay. I mean, that is, a hell of a box set. It looks
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, it looks fun. It doesn't look $120 fun for me.
What is, honestly?
That's a good question.
That case, though, yeah.
This year's like sleeper hit, because hardly anybody saw it, I guess. Challengers from this year is coming on Blu-ray on July 9th. This is kind of a big deal because a lot of people weren't really thinking that this was going to get a Blu-ray release since it's an MGM movie. But they were working with Warner Brothers to put this out rather than have Amazon and MGM do it themselves.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Blu-ray only and no special features.
Yeah. I
That's
saw a lot of people that were pissed about 4K. I was just like, you should be pissed that they just basically were just like, no, go fuck yourself. There's no special features.
Yeah. It's too bad too because I saw this movie a couple weeks ago and it's a blast. And there's so much that I would want more info on. I mean, the cinematographer Sayambu Muktiprom, who shot a lot of Apichatpong Weerasethun's films, it does some incredible work here. I mean, he's collaborated with Guadagnino in the past, but there's like shots that are from the perspective of a tennis ball at one point, which is nuts. Also, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's score
Kicks ass.
Yeah, it rules. Yeah, all the Ks have seen this, yes, and I am one of them.
Ronnie called me out. I meant that. I meant that in like a sarcastic way. Everybody that loves film saw this, but everybody's talking about this as Zendaya can't carry a film, and Luca Guadagnino finally has a bomb, and all kinds of shit. That was all sarcasm. I apologize.
It's also it's a bounce back from I usually love
It's a what?
Luca's work. I didn't care for Bones and All and found it to be kind of dreary and dull and very just not fun for a movie about teenage cannibals. And this one, I know very little about tennis and don't care about sports at all, and thought this one was just a big old ball of fun. So yeah.
Two tennis
purposely
puns,
called
and
the
you
tennis movie a bounce back.
Yeah,
and a big ball of fun.
I
Who are
know.
you, Gene Shallack?
I'm gonna
That's my
excuse
job.
myself. I need to leave. Yeah.
Hey, Brian Doyle, the other co-host of Almost Major. There he is.
Oh,
the
the Bones and All
singular
fan.
Bones and All fan. That's right.
I will say, when I did work at the Coolidge, we did do something that was fun and very it was an audacious move on our part, but we had a free advanced screening of Bones and All, in which we supplied everyone with free ribs. And it was actually a huge success. And they were good ribs on top of that. The only thing was the theater reeked for about a good 3 to 4 days after that. But yeah,
That's really funny.
yeah, it was one of the more creative things we've ever done, and that's saying something.
I love silly tie-ins like that.
Yeah.
Next one up, Cohen Media Group is releasing Kidnapped from 2023 on July 22nd. I've heard pretty good things about this. It's from Marco Bellacchio from Italy. It's supposed to be great. This almost seems like a movie you would have seen. Did you see this one, Charlie?
I didn't, but I have heard very, very good things. It was I had a hard time accessing it I've heard it's fantastic. Yeah, I've been very, very curious, and I love Cohen Media. So usually anything they put out, I usually have utmost faith in. So
Yeah, they do great stuff, and they don't get enough attention for sure. A lot of the stuff they put out gets just sadly overlooked.
mhm.
Even in Kino sales, when they're literally on sale for like $9, you can get like some of the best movies of the last 5 years.
Mhm.
All right, next one up, Undercrank. We don't hear enough from them, and I'm glad we're getting something else. July, they're giving us a Blu-ray of Francis Ford's The Craving, but will also include 3 shorts. This is from 1918.
Wow.
And this is going to have musical scores done by Ben Modell, who's been on the channel before, new 2K restorations of the shorts and The Craving, brand new musical scores that Ben Modell did himself. And then we've got Unmasked, the Post-Telegrapher, When the Tables Turned, Screen Snapshots, and Francis Ford Film Pioneer. All of those adding up to like another 40, 50 minutes worth of movies. That's pretty great for what they're doing.
Yeah.
Who's putting this out? Undercrank Productions?
Undercrank, yeah, it's the old silent film company.
I've never heard of that. I swear to God, every episode that I listen to you, there's like another company, a boutique label that I'm just like, never heard of this, but great, y'all are doing it, great.
I always love their art. They have something very original in every single piece of art. They like the cup here on the left side of the screen, the people climbing in the cup. Like, who would think to do that? For
Yeah.
a 1918 film. Love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mike Nichols' first movie, Jeff Nichols' first movie. I don't know why I said like Mike 5 times this week. His first movie, Shotgun Stories, coming to Blu-ray from Sony on June 18th, and I am dying to see this. I've never seen this. Either of you seen this one?
I haven't, but I've been meaning to see it for a long time too. I like almost everything. I didn't love Midnight Special, but I really loved Take Shelter. I've seen a few times and only gets better for me on every viewing. And yeah, I liked Mud. And I know that this one did have
I knew if somebody had seen it, it was Bryden.
Yeah, Bryden just put in the comments, Shotgun Stories is terrific. And yeah, I know that this certainly has its devoted devoted followers, including Bryden. So yeah.
Great director. I loved me some Take Shelter. I love that Sibner and Stan are saying this looks like Michael Shannon to me, because that is
Yeah.
Getting some real Michael Shannon vibes from this guy. You guys notice that?
Oh man, for some reason this Michael Shannon guy is giving me Michael Shannon vibes. Once again, I want to clarify for people that see this announcement and cringe a little bit. This is a mod disc from Sony, which means it is made on demand. It is a pressed disc. So once again, we're going to that argument against BDRs. But you don't need to worry about it. This is a pressed disc. It's going to be just fine. But the mod, all that means is they don't think this is going to sell like gangbusters. So they're only printing them based on how many people buy them. if this sells on pre-order for 600 copies, they'll print 600 copies,
Mhm.
and then as more and more orders come in, they'll do small things. There are I think 2 pressing companies in the U.S. that are still doing small order pressings, and that's where we get a lot of our mod orders from. But I can't wait to buy this. This looks amazing, and I've been wanting to see this since I watched Take Shelter for the first time. Dying to see it.
Yeah, very interested in watching this. Very,
Mhm.
very rare to get a straight up just Sony Blu-ray release, even if it is made
Yeah.
on demand press. Which, hey man, BDR, if it's on disc, it's a way to watch it, man, and it's still going to be 1080p. Which I know everybody's just like, oh, but 4K. It's like you need to realize 1080p is still incredible, folks.
Yeah, I agree. Another one coming from Sony, although this one
Dennis
got the-
Dugan classic. Let's go.
it's got the TriStar logo on the side, of course. Same date,
Beautiful.
June 18th. Beverly Hills freaking Ninja is
Yes.
coming from 1997 on Blu-ray, and we got a commentary from Dennis Dugan. I can't remember. I don't think that was on the DVD,
Oh wow.
so I feel like that might be new.
They got him from his busy schedule of shooting 9 Adam Sandler movies this year to record about this. Hell yeah.
Is he directing Happy Gilmore too? I know that news
Probably.
just got announced. Yeah.
Which we've all been clamoring for. I mean, I'm gonna watch the hell out of it. What am I talking about? I have not seen this probably since I was like 6 years old when this came out. But I mean, I will always say hell yeah to anything Chris Farley. So
Speaking of Happy Gilmore 2, when do we start the Happy Madison season on Almost Major?
Oh God.
when we've run out of all studios, that'll be on
Oh.
Patreon. If you want to watch that shit, you better pay us.
June 18th, again from Sony, we are getting The Burglars from 1971. This has a Morricone score, so that's a big deal.
Nice.
Omar Sharif is in this. Jean-Paul Belmondo's in this. I've heard nothing but great things, and I believe this was released previously. It might have been the other one. Let me verify my facts. Oh no, it's the other one. Yeah, this is, I believe, the first time this has been on Blue. Can't wait to see this.
I have
Yeah.
never heard of this, but yeah, sold.
Definitely sold. Yeah.
And the big thing, this is why I push back on the people that hate these mod releases. Sony is going above and beyond on this and giving you a 2-disc release, giving you the English version on 1 disc and the French version on a 2nd disc. What
Wow.
other studio is doing that for a film like this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like if they're getting put out a lot, sometimes beggars can't be choosers, and it's still pressed, so that's great.
Exactly. The next one from Sony is Cat Ballou from 1965. This one was previously released by Twilight Time and was going, as of last week, for over $100 on eBay.
God damn.
Wow.
So this is a great thing that this is coming out. People can finally get to see this again without, getting a loan. And it will have a commentary on it. Unfortunately, it's not going to have all of the special features from the Twilight Time release, but glad this is coming out and people can get it again for cheap. You got Jaden Fonda, Lee Marvin, pretty great cast in this. Nat King Cole is in it.
Holy
yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
it's supposed to be great.
Well, that's good that that's coming out. That's coming out of the Twilight Times vault as far as out of print Blu-rays for people to not have to spend so much damn money on there.
And Twilight Time did a lot of Sony titles, so potentially, like, this could mean that they've got more coming, theoretically.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do a Blu-ray of Lenny, which I got the what is it, imprint? Yeah, I got
Imprint,
that,
yeah.
but I mean, as far as a US release, that'd be great.
That would do well, I think. Malcolm X, speaking of things that already got a U.S. release, July 15th on 4K. Icon Films doing Malcolm X in the UK. No news on features, but this looks like a fairly inexpensive 4K release of just an all-time amazing movie. Any fans of this one?
Oh yeah.
It's
Incredible.
fucking incredible. I mean, I will say that this cover is better than the Criterion cover, but that is not enough to not buy the Criterion cover. I saw this when you posted it, and I was like, "Holy shit, Malcolm X on 4K!" And then I looked up and I was like, "All right, I already have Malcolm X on 4K. I'm stupid."
I had a wild experience the last time I watched this when we showed it at the Coolidge on 35 millimeter, and What I didn't know was that there was going to be a special guest who introduced the film, and I wasn't working that day. But this, somebody approached me, clearly knowing I had what was working there at the time, even though I didn't have my shirt on that said Coolidge Corner Theater on it, and was just talking to me about like the building and how old it was and how many theaters there were, and I kind of just laughed it off, was like, even when I'm not working here, they can just tell. And then before they introduced the film, Mark, our programming manager, was like, by the way, we have a special guest. We have Malcolm X's nephew here. And it was this guy who I was just talking to. And I was like, holy shit. Like, just had no idea. It was just like, oh, like, nice, just making small talk with people, telling them about
Please
the
tell me
theater.
they did not have a Q&A for him.
No, he was
Malcolm X's nephew. I have a script that you might want to read.
Oh God, no. Yeah, thank God that didn't happen. Jesus Christ. But yeah, kind of one of those holy shit like moments that just like totally like knocked me upside the head.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. And the movie itself, I mean, Spike Lee, just a remarkable filmmaker. I mean, that goes without saying, but like, this is one of his very best movies. And yeah, I need to get this on 4K in any way I can get it at some point, because it's just a masterpiece.
Well, and to contrast what I was saying about the new fucking Indiana Jones movie, that movie is shorter than this movie, and the Indiana Jones movie feels like 3 times as long as this.
Oh.
Malcolm X goes by like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I still don't understand how Denzel, I mean, it was Al Pacino's time, and I quoting, and I say that facetiously in quotes. I still haven't seen Son of a Woman, but like, I don't understand how you can watch this movie and not give Denzel Washington, like, I don't know, every award on the planet,
all of the awards ever,
all of the awards. There are no more awards left in the world. Yeah,
let's just sign him over to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Criterion, we got some Criterion announcements this week. First one is Brief Encounters and the Long Farewell from 67 and 71, coming to Blu-ray and DVD, brand new release from Criterion on August 13th. This is going to have a new 4K digital restoration, interviews with some scholars on this, and then an essay by Jessica King. This cover's pretty nice for this. I really like this. I've not liked most Criterion covers this year, but I like this one.
Yeah, they will sometimes go for like the obvious poster art, which is fine. That's tried and true. Or it's something like I was just talking about the Malcolm X cover. It's just like, you're telling me multiple people saw this. Okay. But I love the way this looks for sure.
Yeah, this release looks good. Next is The Last Emperor. This is coming on 4K on August 13th. This was previously released in the UK by Arrow. A lot of people were buying that because I think that one went out of print already for that limited edition.
Oh, damn.
This is going to have a 4K disc with HDR and 2 Blu-rays of the movie and special features. Nothing new on this, I don't believe. Everything is all archival from previous releases, but still a great release, great movie, and supposedly looks amazing in 4K.
Big
Cool.
blind spot for me. I need to catch up with this one.
Have you seen any Bertolucci?
I have. I've seen The Conformist, which is, remarkable. And one of the most beautiful looking movies ever made. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does great. Simner is asking, is Criterion the only label that now puts out all 3 formats, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K? I'm sure there's a couple more, like 88 Films does DVD on some new
Does
releases.
Arrow still do DVDs
Nope.
sometimes? No?
They're
Okay.
all phased out.
Yeah, I guess 88.
Yeah.
I don't
I think
know.
that's about it, though. There's not very many.
I would love to be able to like just look at their books and be like, how many sales for each format? Because it's like,
Yes.
oh, Blue Underground still does DVD. Okay.
Oh.
Oh yeah, because the last time they had a sale, I picked up a few DVDs for them. So yeah, there you go.
But those aren't new titles. Are they
No.
releasing brand new titles on DVD still? That's the question. Not just producing DVDs. Are they announcing DVDs?
I picked up, for some reason, I picked up Zombie on DVD, and it was the 4K restoration that was like 4 years ago or something like that. So, but I mean, now really they just put out 4Ks from stuff that they've put out.
Yeah.
400 times before. Yeah.
That's true. Next title,
Hell
Not
no.
a Pretty Picture, a Martha Coolidge film from 1975. Coming again, Blu-ray DVD. This is the first time release for them. This is going to have a new 4K digital restoration approved
Yes.
by Martha Coolidge. Interview with Coolidge conducted by Allison Anders. There's a documentary by Coolidge about her grandmother from 1974 on this, and then an essay by Molly Haskell. And this is one that is going
Nice.
on my July wish list.
Yeah, I've seen this movie. It's fucking awesome. It's not an easy watch, but boy, howdy, is it great. And yeah, I'm buying this day one, 1000%.
I really need to catch up with Martha Coolidge's filmography. I heard
Yes.
Valley Rose is amazing.
Yes.
I heard this is amazing.
My man, Dude McMahon. Yes, we need City Girl to be coming out. The thing was restored in 2022, but wow. So it has been restored. We just need that because that I have not watched that because it's like only available on like a Japanese dub that was then dubbed in America, that then was dubbed in Hungary, which is now dubbed back in the US. Like it looks awful. So that's what we need. I was hoping, like when I saw this announcement, I was like, please tell me it's got like City Girl on there or something like that. The documentary about her grandmother, that has like 5 views on Letterboxd. I don't think that's easy to watch whatsoever. So that's great that they're actually being able to put that out. But yeah, need City Girl. Please put City Girl out.
Hopefully soon. That's the big thing.
Oh, he meant Not a Pretty Picture restored in 22. Damn it! It's never happening, is it?
Then they went all in on Albert Brooks, jumping all the way to 4K and Blu-ray from Criterion. Real Life from 1979. This is a director-approved 4K done by Albert Brooks himself. It's got a 4K disc of the movie with HDR and a Blu-ray. Of course, we got a new interview with Brooks, new interview with Francis Lee McCain, and then a 3D trailer directed by Brooks for this.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And yeah.
Wow.
This is
Yeah.
a funny movie.
I have not seen any Albert Brooks movies, but our friend Mitchell Beaupre, which you had on recently, love him so much. They fucking love Albert Brooks. So when this happened, I was like, Mitchell, are you okay?
Yeah, Mitchell was posting everywhere the day they
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely be watching this because he only has 8 movies, I believe.
Something like that.
Something like that, and damn near all of them are like, watch them. So they definitely need to. I think I'll either start with Real Life or Modern Romance. I don't know, but very much looking forward.
I've only seen Real Life and Lost in America, and both of those are good starting off points, I'd say. Yeah.
Albert didn't direct it. James did, but did you see Broadcast News? Either of you?
Oh, I love Broadcast.
Okay. I was gonna say that is one of my favorites of all time.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Incredible movie.
I was telling somebody that is going through another list that I made that was all wide release rom-coms from 1989 to today. I was like, you seen Little Black Book? He's like, no, I haven't seen Little Black Book. I was like, think Broadcast News, but if it was like about Jerry Springer. And he was like, okay. I was like, that's a great film. Watch that film.
And then again, to add to Albert Brooks, we also get Mother from 1996 coming on 4K and Blu-ray. This is also starring Debbie Reynolds. This has a new 4K restoration supervised by Albert Brooks himself. 4K disc of the movie and a Blu-ray with the movie and special features. New interview with Brooks. New interview with the actor Rob Morrow. A teaser directed by Brooks. And then an essay by Carrie Rickey. I've never seen this one.
I haven't either.
Yeah. I thought what's her name from Hunger Games was in this, but I guess not. Please laugh.
That was pretty good.
I have seen Mother exclamation point, but not just Mother. No.
I was going to say that's the difference. This is Mother. That one is Mother.
Yeah.
What about the Bong Joon-ho Mother? That one's really
I have
good.
not seen that, but I do really want to see that.
Oh, one of his best.
This one got announced today. Kino releasing Underground Aces from 1981 on Blu-ray on July 23rd. I don't think I've ever even heard of this.
I haven't either. Yeah.
With this cast, I went, how have I never heard of this? This has Dirk Benedict, Melanie Griffith, Jerry Orbach, and Frank Gorshin. This one's got a new audio commentary by HorrorFix.com's James G. Chandler and Ash Hamilton. Again, I don't know how I've never heard of this. It's got Ernie Hudson in this.
Hell yeah, it does.
Wow.
It's got Michael
Sid
Winslow in
Haig.
it. Sid Haig?
Oh, Sid Haig, R.I.P.
Look at that poster. We used to create things in this country. What happened? How are they all in that car? You got to watch the movie to figure out these shenanigans.
Who played that character in this?
You know
movie?
what? Moving on. That's fine.
Oh boy.
So this is super interesting. Late breaking news right before we went live. Dark Sky Films, who is the company that put out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K in the US last year, they announced a new line that they're calling Dark Sky Selects. The first thing they're doing is the Hatchet Complete Collection.
Gotta do it.
First off, how do you guys feel about Hatchet?
I've seen the first two, I believe. The second one has Daniel Harris, so I definitely remember watching that one. But I saw them 15 plus years ago. I mean, I've seen the GIF of my man just ripping out somebody's entire face by their mouth, and that's just fantastic. That's why we need horror movies. But I have not gone back to it or seen the other sequels.
I haven't seen any of these movies, but I'm very aware of the poster because it was up in a Newbury Comics that I used to work at all the time. So
yeah. I saw the fourth one, which is called Victor Crowley, with Adam Green in attendance and doing a Q&A here in Kansas City. And I love all four of these. They're super fun. Yeah. The second and third one, they lose some power for sure, but the first and the fourth one are pretty great out of nowhere. But this is going to be a 5-disc steelbook, so be prepared for stacked discs.
Wow.
Unfortunately. But the big thing is disc 5 will have exclusive new bonus features, 2 hours of brand new bonuses. And then they casually also announced that coming soon to this new line, another release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then going all in on Ty West with the House of the Devil and the Innkeepers, and then Faces of Death coming to Dark Sky Select soon.
Yeah. Yeah. What are they going to do with Texas? What are you going to do? Like, what more can you do?
Put it in a steelbook. That's probably it. Which they've already done that too.
Oh, which Newbury?
I know.
I worked at the one in the Solomon Pond Mall, which is no longer there, and I also worked at the one in Alewife, in the Alewife strip mall that is also not there anymore. All of the Newbury Comics I used to work at are now gone.
Those sound like fake places.
They are now.
The Alewife.
Alewife is the last stop on the red line of the Boston MBTA. There's like an Alewife shopping center with like a Whole Foods, and there's also an Apple Cinema, which is a really it's like probably the most affordable movie theater in the Boston area.
Apple Cinema sounds fake. Also, you're not helping things. What is the theater around in Boston that's like a furniture company? Is the name? I was just like, that's fake.
Oh, well, that's Jordan's Furniture. That's like there's one in Newton or Framingham, and then there's one in Reading, Massachusetts.
It's not real. But yeah, what are they going to do with the only thing I can think of for Dark Side Select is like they're putting out a different steelbook for like a Walmart exclusive for Texas Chainsaw Massacre with a different cover or something like that. But it's like, Jesus Christ, let it die, man.
I mean, it's literally the most exploited title on home video of all time, I believe.
It's that Evil Dead 2. Boy, how did
Halloween, of course.
Yeah, but Faces of Death, yeah, I'm gonna buy that because I'm a sick man. And then I think I already have House of the Devil and Innkeeper, so I think I'm fine with those. But interesting that they're putting out some more stuff. That's cool.
We'll see what they do. My biggest thing is you can buy this on their website now. It's not listed anywhere because this just got announced today. I imagine this will go everywhere. I assume this will be a wide release, but if it's not, this is on sale on their website for like $70 after shipping. And I'm sorry, a Hatchet Complete Collection in a steelbook, it's not worth $70.
If it was 4K, maybe 70, but this is $40 max. Come on now.
Yeah, all four of those movies can be bought budget like $8 max. So, Kino announced that they are putting out Girl on the Bridge from 1999 on July 23rd. I don't know anything about this, but this looks like a Charlie movie. Have you seen this one?
Get his ass.
I have not, but apparently, according to A.O. Scott, it's 6 years back.
That is the most what Hero Sky wrote that review when he was 14 years old. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I'm buying it just for that quote.
That'll be on the slip and bigger than it actually is printed here in the picture.
It's the live die repeat of Girl on the Bridge. Yeah.
We are getting a second title from this director, but they didn't announce that till after I saw this next one, which is going to make the next announcement look really hilarious. Let's talk about Cocaine Werewolf.
Oh boy.
Is this sexier than sex also?
I mean, they want you to think it is.
Wow.
August 13th on Blu-ray from Cleopatra Entertainment in the U.S. Cocaine Werewolf, cocaine, cash, and a crew filming a low-budget horror movie in the eerie woods of northern Pennsylvania clash when an unexpected visit from a bloodthirsty werewolf literally enters the picture. A gothic industrial rock soundtrack, especially created for the film, courtesy of Cleopatra Records, perfectly sets the mood for one wild and crazy howling at the moon bloody affair. Cocaine, cash, and a crew is duplicating that. Why do they duplicate that in the press release? Anyways.
Cocaine, Cash, and Crew, that was my high school band. We had a great time. We got
I never got to
overshadowed
meet
by
Cash.
another band called Cocaine Werewolf, which you can't win.
The other one coming from that director is The Hairdresser's Husband. This is coming from Kino on July 9th. And again, I'm not seeing any special features on these last two that we talked about from them.
Huh.
This one, I guess, is not sexier than sex.
I was about to say, if anybody's going to call a movie sexier than sex, it's Roger Ebert. So
It does have a
He called
sexier
this one profound.
It does have a much sexier cover, though, or at least the artwork they chose for the Blu-ray release is sexier than the one for Girl on the Bridge.
that's very
So
funny.
that's
That Roger
interesting.
Ebert, that quote, that's his whole review. Just he had 5 minutes left. Wonderful, awesome, profound. All right, I'm seeing y'all later.
What? A guy saves a girl from jumping off a bridge, then spends the rest of the movie throwing knives at her as they fall in love.
That
yeah,
is the review from my friend Brian about the last one, Girl on the Bridge.
Oh,
I mean, that's how you used to court a woman back in the day, but now apparently you go to jail for it. So
Something
Oh.
about misogyny.
yeah, whatever.
oh boy.
That is it for the week.
Woo, we did it.
We did it.
Let's talk about what's coming out next week really quickly, and then
Alright.
we get to discuss collecting. Next week, Narc 4K from Arrow, Crimson Peak 4K from Arrow. Man, this is so weird. I didn't talk about these on the show. Has anybody else seen these?
Yeah, I thought that was already a thing.
Well, Paramount, do you see what they're doing? All
Yeah.
four formats in
In a
one
DVD
package.
case.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
No, this was at Walmart. Like I saw this a year ago.
Yep. It
Yeah.
was a Walmart exclusive, and now they're going wide.
Oh, thank
could have
God.
sworn I saw it at Best Buy before they got rid of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Scream Factory of that when they had that John Carpenter sale, and I was just like, let me get all the rest of the Johns that I ain't got. So
Who wants all 4 formats of Escape from LA and the
you gotta be prepared. I mean, come on.
Touche. American Hustle 4K Steelbook, Death Dream 4K from Blue Underground, Meet John Doe from Classic Flicks. This is the one that was originally announced on 4K, and then not enough people ordered
yeah.
it, and they said, never mind, Blu-ray only.
I love how they came out and just be like, oh, you want to talk about 4K? None of y'all bought this shit, okay?
Exactly.
So good on them.
Then we got The Island of Dr. Moreau from Scream Factory, Republic Pictures Horror Collection from Kino. I still can't believe Scream Factory's doing Gretel and Hansel
Yes, you
4K.
can. Yes, you
I mean,
can.
yes.
Is it because Longlegs is coming out this year, do you think?
Sure.
Oh, that could
They also
be,
put out
probably.
Ouija. Okay, they put Ouija out on 4K. Okay, they'll do anything. Okay, I'm seeing. Okay, so Paramount is doing a lot. I thought they only had Escape from LA. They're doing the Hunt for Red October. This DVD, but it's disgusting. Get it out of my face. Oh my goodness.
Teaserama from Kino, Philo Vance Collection from Kino, The Wolf House coming from Kim
Ooh.
Stanley.
Oh, the Wolf House.
Wolf
rules.
House is wild.
I've had that one pre-ordered for like 3 months and cannot wait.
Yeah.
Back from the Dead and Daisy Miller from Kino, 3 revolutionary films from Criterion, Man's Castle, I believe that one's coming from Sony themselves. There you go, Beverly Hills Cop coming with all 4 again.
Need that.
Beauty of Beauties from 88 Films, Cloverfield, all 4. There you go.
I probably will buy that because I'm garbage.
Big Man on Campus from Kino, Vertical Ray of the Sun from Sony Pictures Classics. Bushman from Kino. I think that's all of the big ones, unless we want to talk about hentai. All right.
Charlie does. Charlie.
She's no.
I will say probably out of this that I would probably pick up is Slam that Kino's putting out because I'm a big fan of Saul Williams. So that's very interesting. I've always wanted to see that. I haven't seen that.
I would
And then
love to.
Death Dream, I have that on DVD, and I'm like, eventually I'll get the Blu-ray. I don't really need the 4K, but Death Dream kicks ass.
I need to see Death Dream.
Oh, it's great.
There's a lot. I feel like half of the show is me going, I need to see that.
I mean, same.
What about Crimson Peak? That's what I was going to ask you guys about. Have you seen Crimson Peak? Do you think it's going to look amazing in 4K?
Yes. I only saw it once in theaters. I definitely need to watch it again. I enjoyed it. I would consider picking up that 4K. I mean, it's a gorgeous movie. I mean,
yeah.
And
it's
got
one of those that...
Oh, sorry.
Go right ahead.
Jessica Chastain hasn't had that much fun since. I also think she's chewing up every scene in that movie in a way that I found to be pretty glorious.
Hasn't had any fun since then. Have you seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Charlie?
No, I did not.
No, you did.
Kind of amazing in that movie.
Okay.
We covered
you
the
know what? I
documentary.
might stand corrected. God, remember when we thought that Nicole Kidman was going to win Best Actress for a while, and then she came out of nowhere, and like the last week they were like, "Let's give it to her."
Everybody's like, "Why? I don't know."
Because we don't want to give it to Nicole for the Aaron Sorkin, Lucille Ball thing.
We all remember being the Ricardos. I need that 4K tomorrow.
Oh God, Aaron Sorkin. I need to do an episode on him soon.
I'll be on. I'll be the one defender of Newsroom. People are like, wait, do you think it's good? And I'm like, no. I said I'm defending it. I didn't say it was good.
Man, this is going to be a fun topic. When we were talking about doing this episode, Kevin came back and said, let's talk about the downfalls of collecting for physical media. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, we've kind of hinted at a lot of them tonight while we discussed the announcements. There's a lot of random complaining, a lot of things that people just don't seem to be able to I don't know, just straight deal with, I guess is the best way to say it. Why this topic, Kevin?
I don't know. I think one of the first things I was thinking of is just like, one, it's like downfalls, and also just like affirmations you need to tell yourself to like just not get bored of collecting, because it's like for my like Saturn's Core collection that I'm having, like 2 or 3 of them I don't have the slipcover, and I was just like, oh, maybe and then I'll look it up on eBay. I was like, are you gonna pay $30 for a slipcover just so it looks better on your shelf? It's just like, no, don't do it, it's fine, okay, it's a literal slipcover, you will be fine. Does it look great? Yes. Downfall to my wallet, that is right, Christopher. But and same thing with AGFA, it's just like there's some of them that are just like, if I got like the McPherson tape, like one of their first ones, like that's like $100 with the slip. It's just like, it's not worth it, man. It's not. Getting all the ones you want, yeah. Now if it's like $10 more, sure. But once you start doing the aftermarket stuff where you're paying eBay and you're paying like double the price that you can get it on like Vinegar Syndrome just for a slipcover, don't do it. You're gonna burn yourself out, and by that time you're just like, is buying the slipcover making you love the movie more? No. Is it great to have it if you can easily buy it? Yes. But I don't know. And also just like, you're not going to win with a lot of people that like anonymously post on Blu-ray forum, but let me try. But yeah, that's to start it out. So
that's a good call out. This topic, generally on here, I'm trying to be fairly positive, and this, I don't want to be like anti anybody on this. You collect as you want to collect, buy what you want to buy. Don't even call it collecting if that's what. Because honestly, I mean, I think just this week I've had to defend like 4 times. These are about the discs that's inside of these packages. That's what I truly care about. So, let's break this down. I don't want anybody in the chat to feel attacked or anything, but just a fair, healthy discussion for everybody. We're going to share some and go in depth.
Yeah, I'm talking about stuff to like, yeah, this is not like if you complain about 4K. No, I'm talking about for me, that I need to tell myself sometimes, where it's just like, you just bought My Bloody Valentine on Blu-ray. Do you need to spend another $30 for a 4K?
Right.
No, you do not. You'll be fine. You will be fine. There's other people out there, yes, they love that movie. It's their money. I'm not telling them not to. I'm just saying, for me, things I got to tell myself, that could turn into if I gave into every upgrade that I would like, you know, then I would start to get burnt out because I've spent $60 on My Bloody Valentine, a movie I do love. But once you start doing that, it starts to get, yeah. That said, I think packaging is like a dust jacket. Yeah, that is true, sir. Yes.
I will say, to play devil's advocate, there are some things that I have gone out of my way to replace if they're like, I will, Kevin, this was after you came to visit, but the Igmar Bergman Criterion box, you know, that huge,
that brick,
thing,
yeah,
that brick, it was, so I moved recently and it was on my bookshelf, and I bumped into my bookshelf and the whole thing fell, and it was just this huge crack all throughout that case, and I was just like, it crushed me. And I know it's like, I'm not even saying this lightly, like definitely like something about my obsessive like being kind of anal about like, but it's this huge special edition and it now looks like shit. And I did actually go on and like look up on eBay like how much it was to just buy like the little slip that it came in. And I will say I did spend some money on it, but I feel so much better just because of it's so special, and it holds everything in there together. Now, would I do that for everything? No, but there are certain things where if they get damaged or there is an upgrade for, let's just say, like, I think I bought Mulholland Drive maybe 3 or 4 times because it's like my favorite movie ever.
Yeah, I bought a steelbook for Anaconda that had a new interview with the director. That's the only reason I bought it, and I had to do it because who else is gonna do it? Me. All right. And anytime they put that out, I'm gonna buy it. Okay. But if that's like a movie I think is fine and there's a new interview, I'm like, I don't care. Fuck about that guy. But Luis Loza, yeah, I'm gonna hear about what he has to say about the greatest film of all time, Anaconda from 1997, starring Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube. Anyways, yeah,
Dan Trejo.
you goddamn right. But Charlie, have you watched any of the movies in that box set yet?
The Igmar Bergman box set?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a ton in there, but I definitely
Since you've bought it?
Since I bought it, no.
Same. Same.
but there's so many. I mean, like, I feel like I need to really, I mean, I've been meaning to watch Fanny and Alexander for a long time now. I mean, Shame, Virgin Spring. But, like, the Igmar Bergman movies that I love, I really, really, really love.
Well,
And
yeah.
I had a bunch of them separately, like, you know, Persona, Seven Seal, Cries and Whispers. Yeah. Oh yeah, Blue Velvet is one that I definitely want to upgrade to as well on 4K. Blowout, the Brian De Palma film, I've been trying to be like, you still have the Blu-ray, it's okay, but I know I'm like, I know I'm gonna need to upgrade that at some point just for the ending of that film alone is gonna break my goddamn heart. In 4K.
I'll get it eventually. That'll be once I get the Criterions that I don't already have on Blu-ray. Then I'll just be like, oh yeah, Blowout on 4K, sure, why not? But also, the thing with Blue Velvet, which we kind of get into a little bit, like, was when that was announced that Criterion was putting that out, and it had the exact same transfer, I think, maybe not, but it had all the same special features, and it was pretty much just the MGM Blu-ray, but with a C on it. And I was like, you guys are just buying this shit because it's Criterion. Like, you can get this Blu-ray for like $5 on Amazon right now. So that's just me. If you want all the Criterions, it's fine. But I'm just saying, I have to have some barriers because I can only buy so many shot on video horror movies that are not good. I have to, you know, parse my money out. I can't buy, you know, everything that I want. Yeah.
What about because I have a few out of print Criterion DVDs that like the transfers themselves are bad, but because they were that old, but I will still hang on to them. Like the Hard Boiled that's out of print, I will never get rid of that, even though, you know, or I might even go out of my way to find stuff. Like I think I also have the RoboCop Criterion and the Silence of the Lambs Criterion. I know that they're super cheap now, but just like I love those movies so much that as weird collectibles to be like they were like, well, Silence of the Lambs did get an upgrade, and my God, does that look incredible. But
yeah,
that was one actually that I was I know the Kino did a 4K of that, and there was some controversy about that, and that's one that I was like, I do remember being like, I think I'll keep my Criterion here because it still looks great, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just brought up 3 different topics all at once.
That's fine. Ryan, what are some things to tell yourself when you're just like, oh, maybe I should, but just like I can't give in to like every impulse I have, kind of thing.
My biggest thing is, for the longest time before, I don't know, I'll say 2021, space was not really an issue for me. I had a room dedicated to movies, and I was showing Kevin before we went live. He was like, "So how many discs do you have?" And I showed the room a little bit. It's a goddamn mess in here. Like, everything behind me looks clean, but man, it is bad. I've got stacks. I literally have a box that I keep here that nothing can fit on shelves. I mean, you see behind me, everything is literally ham-fisted into shelves on top of titles, and I hate that. I'd much rather have everything out and possibly on display so I can find everything. I know where everything is, but it's, God, I hate it. And space, I'm lucky enough to have a full room. Most people that live in like Boston or in New York, like they would kill to have a room this size that they can just say, yeah, that back room is the movie room. I'm privileged beyond belief to have this. And I'm like, why am I buying a second copy of this random movie from 88 Films for another commentary? I don't really need that other commentary.
Well, I guess this is a question too, because it's something I even struggle with in terms of prioritization. When there's like a Criterion sale or a Kino Lorber sale and they've gotten new 4K upgrades, do you tend to lean towards buying films that you don't have but have wanted for a long time, or to upgrade like personal favorites? Because sometimes I get caught in the middle. Sometimes I'll split it evenly. Sometimes I'll go completely for new things. Other times I'll be like, okay, I've been meaning to get this for a while. It's been a few years. Where do you both fall under that?
Well, basically, if I have the Blu-ray already, it's got to be like one of my all-time favorites to get a 4K of it, unless it's like already on sale. Like something like, I have Untouchables on Blu-ray, but that 4K goes on sale for like $10 to $12 sometimes, so I'll upgrade that. That's fine. I don't like adore that movie, but if I can 4K upgrade for like $12 for a movie that I really enjoyed, like that's fine. But if it's like a Scream Factory or a Criterion that's going to be $20-25 for a 4K for usually a movie that I think is good, but if somebody's like, you want to spend $30 on that, I was like, no, that movie's a piece of shit. Like, so it's definitely pick and choose for a lot of stuff. Like Malcolm X, that's 1000% of 4K. But
Yep.
For other things, like if they came out with, say, I just bought Target's the Blu-ray from Criterion. If they announced a 4K, I'd be like, I'm fine with the Blu-ray. That movie's incredible, but I'm fine. You know, it's just some people, you know, want everything to be 4K, and that's if money was not an option, sure, I would do that. But I gotta cut down. I can only, if I upgraded everything to 4K, I can't buy Attack of the Killer refrigerator. Okay, what's more important? That's what I'm saying. Please, my five children are starving. Please tell me how to do math. Yeah.
How many copies of the Killer Cut of Soul Survivors do you own, Kevin?
3. Anytime I see one, got to get it off the streets. I'm trying to make America a better place. Okay, got to get them all out of the streets. If they're in my possession, they're good. Nobody else is going to be exposed to it.
You're fostering a home for them.
No, because they're not going anywhere. They're staying lock and key. I also have numerous copies of Blair Witch 2, a movie that I think is dog shit, and I love it. So, you didn't upgrade that to 4K? No, but I got a Spanish Blu-ray of Blair Witch 2 because there's no Blu-ray in America, and it's probably a bootleg. Hello?
Yeah. With Criterion lately, I've been doing my incredibly scientific method of choose probably 3 to 5 of the newest ones from the last sale that were just like, oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. I'm definitely going to want this. And then force myself, instead of doing any more, go for 1 or 2 for something older that I've just never had my eyes on, that if I'm going to appreciate something, it's somebody that I love. Like I just did that. We were just talking about Soderbergh. I picked up 2 of his super, like the Blu-rays were released in like 2012 of a couple of his that I just somehow had never got. And so I picked those up instead of going for something else that I could have. And yeah, this next sale, I've got my eyes on a couple, and I hope to do something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that Vinegar Syndrome has really tapped into something, which the whole, you know, there are limited copies of it, is what will get me to blind buy their stuff all the time, especially when we go to the archive. Shout out to the archive in Connecticut. They're great. But yeah, like that is the type of thing to really get me, especially with, you know, the incredible supplemental features and the artwork. Two other movies that I should have brought down and I didn't, but I blindly bought Southern Comfort, the Walter Hill film, which is amazing.
Such a great movie.
It's so good, based on the fact that Vinegar Syndrome 4K, incredible artwork. I mean, Walter Hill, like all the supplemental features, and Phase 4 for pretty much the exact same reasons. Been on my list for a while, heard it was incredible, you know, and knowing that if I don't buy it now, like I just might not get that opportunity again. And right. You know, if I dislike it, then you know, it makes me feel less bad knowing just how much like care went into the transfer, into the release, the whole thing. It makes me feel better about blindly buying something, even if it does cost me a little more money, because it, you know, it's made with passion and heart. You know, the people poured their heart and souls into something like that. I think that, you know, I'm crushed whenever something is out of print. And like, for example, my Showgirls 4K for Vinegar Syndrome got really banged up in a move, and it's killing me. My OCD is killing me that I'm like, I have Showgirls on 4K, but it looks like it got put in a dishwasher or something. But at the same time, I have to tell myself, like we were saying, the disc inside is fine. It's okay. And that's ultimately what is most important. But at the same time, yeah, like I do think that in terms of like in this day and age, in order for physical media to thrive, I think that it is kind of important to put care into, you know, several other aspects as well. And that always does make it feel like not just, oh boy, I have a new movie to watch, but like I have like so much about the movie to learn about the movie in general afterwards, you know, that I can look forward to.
Well, yeah, and when we went to the archive and met the people that worked there who worked for Vinegar Syndrome, and it just feels like it's like going directly to them. It doesn't feel like you're paying like a corporation, and you feel like you like for Saturn's Core and like Bleeding Skull, it's like there's like 2 or 3 people. They're just like, I don't know, I like this movie, and I'm like, I like your taste, so I'm gonna buy that shit. I don't care if I haven't seen it. It's just like you haven't let me down, and it's going to like it seems like it's going like to an indie label instead of just, I don't know, spending $150 on like Columbia Pictures 4K box set, which hell yeah. But you know, that it just makes you feel better, because it's just like every one of those special features you can think about. Like when I hear, you know, Brad from TerraVision talking about like I had to track somebody down and eventually got to interview him and had to send somebody out to interview him. It's just like, you don't really feel that with, you know, just your run-of-the-mill Blu-ray. It's like these people care about the movie just as much as you have, just for you to just spend like $25 after they spent like so much time for that. It's just, it makes it feel much more like worth it, you know, even if it's not that good. You could just be like, yeah, but they put a lot of effort into it, and, you know, for all of that and all the special features and the presentation and all that, it just makes it feel a lot more substantial than, you know, if I was just watching some shot on video garbage on Tubi. You know, it's like, no, I paid $25 for the shot on video garbage.
Not to promote myself too much on my own show or whatever, but like my interviews, that's what I'm shooting for. I really want people to watch and go, these are the people that when I buy a movie, it's literally like it came from his mind that he wanted to release it. And he worked with somebody in Hong Kong on the ground. And 2 months ago, I talked to that guy. You can go connect those dots. And looking at everybody that touches these in the process, it is such a, I don't know, it's, I don't want to say like heartwarming, but it's so interesting to find out that somebody literally, like many of these labels make almost no money. And they're literally just trying to hustle out there, sell as much as they possibly can to people for films that they have loved since they were 11, like the rest of us.
Oh yeah. And hearing like Brad talking on either the podcasts that they do and just like, oh yeah, I know about that movie. I've been tracking it down for like 5 years. And it's just like that's nuts. And it's just like you're putting in that much work, and I'm gonna complain that it's not a 4K. Like, of all the things, it's just like, I get it. You know, I'm not poo-pooing on anybody. It's just like, if you want a 4K, I get it. But it's just like they put in so much work, and it's just like, you got to realize that, like you were saying, these are people that like are pretty much making the money that they make for that goes to the next one and the next one. It's like, it's not exactly a money making venture. They're doing it because they love it. And yeah, it's just like, you know, don't just blindly support people, you know, of course, of like that. But if they are putting out stuff and you want it, definitely fucking support them, because if not, they could go away of a Twilight time, unfortunately. Stuff like that.
I love that you brought up the 4K thing, because what's funny is it's happening in the opposite too. I mean, the last round of TerraVision announcements, we announced Nailgun Massacre on 4K, which I've been working on that title since last August myself, and I've only been doing a few things behind the scenes for them. And I mean, we posted that, and there are people on Reddit going, why are they putting this shit on 4K? And yet everyone else is going, there are other 3 announcements. Why aren't those on 4K? You can't.
You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. Yeah. Well, you were saying that you sold that on like r/boutique Blu-ray. It's just like, oh yeah, have fun trying to impress those people. Or just like the 4K Blu-ray subreddit. It's just like, oh boy. I mean, yeah, they know the market as much as they can know the market, and they're gonna put out 4K for the stuff that you want to put 4K. Yeah. Those James Cameron transfers, guess what? They look better than the DVDs. So there's that. It can't.
And the bootleg Blu-rays too.
Yeah, you can't always get what you want. Sorry.
Well, the other thing I want to shout out, Sibner had brought up, Charlie was talking about limited titles going out of print. Usually that's limited for slips and other packaging, not to foster fear. One thing I do want to say that we don't talk about enough is the booklets also go out of print. And
Yes.
Yeah.
this has bothered me for a long time. Yeah. So Second Sight, Radiance, Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, they paid somebody to write essays for these books, literally paid almost the same amount of money for like visual essays and other stuff. And after they sell the first couple thousand, then they're gone forever. Not to like, again, tease too much, but I've hated that for a long time. So we've got a couple boutiques I've been working with to try to make that go away in a very interesting way. So keep an eye out for that in the next like 6 months. So I'm trying to break some of that FOMO that we're all fighting.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I also apologize, not trying to foster fear here. Sorry about that, everybody.
You're not.
No,
You're
you
good,
want
Charlie.
us to all pay $200 on eBay for slipcovers. That's what you want. That's
I
what
already
you
sent
want.
you 200 on Venmo to buy me one. So
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, definitely, it's the thing of. I mean, you could say that about the slipcovers, like they paid somebody to do that, but it's like, yeah, but taking away the booklet, it would be like if they put it out and had like 2 special features missing. It's just like, it feels a little bit different. It's like the booklet is just as essential to that Blu-ray than, you know, the slipcover is. Slipcover is great, but you know, the booklet is definitely, you're not going to think of the movie different because it has a cool different slipcover. It's not going to like open your brain, and you know,
half the time the slipcover art's on the other side of the sleeve anyways.
you got, yeah, damn right. Yeah.
If you love it, just put that on the outside. There you go.
I know. I'm still upset that I don't have the booklet for Welcome to the Dollhouse from Radiance, but you know what? I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
The next one I wanted to bring up is let's talk about being a completionist. Since you brought that up earlier on the show tonight, Kevin, trying to get complete on some things. How do you fight that for all labels for yourself?
Goodness. Yeah, so there's pretty much, like I said, doing Tartan, which the reason I'm doing that is because most of the DVDs are extremely cheap. You can get those for like $3 or $4, or if I want the Blu-rays. I'm also doing, there's a Dragon Dynasty, which was a Tarantino Weinstein type thing in the early 2010s about, you know, and a lot of those have been put out for those Shawscope Blu-rays that Arrow's put out. So basically it's just like, if like it's just like with Tartan, I was just like, well, I want to have all these because the ones that I know that I like, and then the ones I know that I've heard that are good. What about all these other ones that I could, you know, I could technically just download it, you know, I'm not opposed to that. But it's just like, but I can get it, one, you know, better quality, and 2, it's just like, if I do like it, it does, most of these booklets, talk about booklets, DVD booklets, it would be the most piss poor movie ever, and they got like 9 essays on that shit. But I don't know, it's, I guess with the 2 partner labels, it's just like AGFA and Saturn's Core, it's just like that really, one half is just like, you put out stuff I like, and the other half is just like, I want to support so that you do continue to put out stuff that I like. It's basically goes down to that. Like, did Tartan put the Isle back out in the day? Yes, I just got that from the UK, actually. I don't think it ever made it to US, but yeah, I did get that from the UK. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of that. It's just like it's supporting. It's like you give me what I want, so I give you what you want. But yeah, as far as like ones that I'm just like, oh, I don't need all those. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some like labels that like I don't know. It feels like with the partner labels, there's a little bit more like I don't know, like trading card ish thing about them, where every single one of them is numbered type of thing. If you were just like I own all the arrows, it's just like one that's like 7,000. So I don't know how you're doing that, but like for something like this, like also like era 4444, like that company, which you I think recently just did an interview. They only have like 12. So if I wanted to get into them, it wouldn't be that hard. But then I look into it and I'll be like, would I just be buying these to have all of them? Because a few of them, I was just like, you're not watching that. You know damn well you're not watching that. But the idea of it is cool. But I'm just not going to do that. But I know that for is it all Tartan or just Tartan Asian Extreme? Because there's the UK, they had a bunch of just Tartan movies. And then there's Palisades Tartan Extreme, which like there's 5 or 6 of those. Please ignore me. But yeah, I guess some with that, where it's just like it feels like because with AGFA they worked with Bleeding Skull, and Bleeding Skull would do a lot of shot on video, kind of dingy late 80s, 90s movies, which is entirely my bread and butter. So there's that completionist where I want to be able to get as much of those on disc as I can, and then with Saturn Score, that's their entire thing. So I definitely want all of that. So yeah.
What about you, Charlie? Are you completionist for any label?
No. But I kind of have like these weird things in my head where like right now it's killing me that say gun to my head, David Lynch is probably my favorite filmmaker, and I own every single Criterion release that they've put out except Inland Empire. So I start to do like stuff like that where I'm like, but like I need, even though I have like the out of print DVD for Inland Empire, and I've heard like certain things about the transfer, there are certain things where I'm just like, well, I have to get Inland Empire because David Lynch. Like I kind of have that weird thing in my head sometimes where I feel like if a filmmaker is very dear to me, sometimes I try and collect everything that they've put out in some way. But like, I mean, I've accepted that I'm just never going to be able to collect everything. But I do love trying to get as much as I can when I can. Certainly gonna, and I'm certainly not planning on stopping anytime soon. So
yeah. I get that.
Trying to think of directors. I have all.
Why not Inland? Oh, sorry. Just why not Inland Empire? No reason. It's just because it's the most recent one that's come out, and I just haven't gotten it. Like there's been more time for Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, Mulholland Drive. I don't have any reason as to why. That's also why it's driving me insane, and I'm going
because the sale's in July. Then he'll have it.
Yeah,
goddamn
probably.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Kevin. No,
I was just saying, dude, I wasn't even thinking about like director's completionists. Like I have all of Fincher's stuff, including bootlegs. Never mind. And then John Carpenter. That's probably like the most extensive filmography that I have everything for. Yes, I have the Ward on Blu-ray. Don't get involved, but. I'm trying to think of like other directors where I'd just be like, a lot of them I'd be like, I don't really need that, so I'm not going to be a completionist just to be a completionist. So
you said except for bootlegs, like it's a bad thing. I happen to have a pile right next to me, so I'll show off.
Hell yeah.
If Criterion puts out a Lynch box set, I will absolutely get it. No question. I guess the other thing I was thinking was, and I guess this has changed now, but for a while when I was really getting into Claire Denis films, I feel like so many of her films were not. I feel like now
they were barely on DVD.
They were barely on DVD when I was getting into her, and it was one of those things where I feel like I have a lot of friends, and one including my roommate, who sometimes they like to, I guess this doesn't have to do with collecting, sometimes it just has to do with organizing, but a lot of them organize them by director, and there are times where I will like feel bad and be like, Claire Denis is one of my favorite filmmakers. But then like, if you look at my wall and see that there's like 2 films that I own of hers, which no, I own Beau Travail, I own Trouble Every Day, and I own White Material. I need to get Let the Sunshine In from Criterion. But like a lot of the others, oh no, I do have The Intruder on DVD. That's not going anywhere. But like a lot of the others, like US Go Home, are well, I guess Bastards is out. I guess they've gotten better.
US Go Home isn't even on DVD. I don't think.
Yeah. 35 Shots of Rum recently just got released, I
yeah.
think, last year. So like there are certain things where like I will say this person's my favorite director, and then I'll get like a tinge of guilt as to like why haven't I spent extra amounts of money to get them in my collection if they are so beloved to me. And then that becomes a whole stupid game that I play inside my own head where we all lose. But
Well, it's the thing. Once you get them all, then you've got them all.
yeah,
That's not fun. The fun is the hunt.
yeah.
Come on now.
My main problem with completionism has been when I've like been organizing and accidentally noticed or I said that in the wrong order, and then noticed that I accidentally have like 88% of the releases for something. I'm like, well, you're already almost there. You may as well just get the last few.
Come on,
you'll be
go ahead.
done.
Yeah.
So
You'll be happy once you buy those. Do you even want them? It doesn't matter. Just do it. Yeah.
At one point, I was complete on like 15 labels all together, all at once, and I've since broke that. And the crazy thing for me, if I sell one, oh man, the dam is broken, and I can be like, oh yeah, I can get rid of half of these for sure.
Just holding on to the fact is like I got 100%. Once it goes down to 95, get rid of all of them. I don't care.
Fire sale.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Anything on your guys' list you wanted to bring up?
I guess I don't know. Just the main thing is definitely just like you don't need to get it all. And I know some people. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, should I blind buy?" And I forget. Oh God, what was his name that you had on? There's this like, when you go to a movie theater, you're technically blind buying that movie. And I was like, "Damn, dog! I didn't even think about it like that." But it's definitely like that. I mean, there's some movies where I'm just like, I don't need to blind buy that. Or this one is just like, oh, I definitely will, because if I like it, fuck yeah, I got it.
Yep.
You know. But I'm somebody who downloads things legally, and that's just a way of renting stuff. I don't need to buy everything. Sometimes I can rent stuff, you can stream stuff, and that's the beauty of that, is it's kind of taking place of like renting stuff so that you don't have to buy everything, or you can rent it and be like, do I actually need that? Because more times than not, if it's a blind buy and you already have it, if you like it enough, you'll be like, okay, I guess I'll keep it, but I don't think I'll be rewatching it, but I guess I got it. You know, you're in that weird period where it's like, do you want to go through the hubbub of selling it off? It's like, well, no, not really, you know, but I have it, I guess, you know. I don't know where I was going with that.
I will say there's few things are more satisfying than blindly buying some 4K or like whatever highest definition of a film that is out.
6K. Then. That's what we learned tonight.
And being like, God, I just experienced this for the first time in the best quality, and now I have a new favorite. That is such an amazing feeling, because there are times where I'm like, yeah, I'll rent this on Amazon or something like that, and you watch it for the first time and you're like, damn, I should have like now I got
those $4 could have went to the Blu-ray.
Well, then like you will have that thing where you're like, I gotta go buy that right now, and then it'll be like, well, I need to let this sit for a little bit. I can't watch it right away again. And then but you're kind of like, damn, but then when you eventually come back around to it for like round 2 or whatever, it can be just euphoric. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I blind bought Critters 3. I wanted to see that in the best quality that I could possibly do it, and I got it. And it's right there.
What I think is a good way to steer this into is, I think for most people, you really just got to kind of determine what is important to you. Is that the price, and so you're only going to be chasing deals? Is that a label that you trust, like Radiance? I got to admit, I kind of blindly trust Fran and his curation. Pretty much everything he has put out, I am great. The other big thing, are you a transfer chaser? Are you somebody that's going to say, oh, this has a better transfer now I'm going to go after it? And then unfortunately, you got to chase things like Sony, 4 years after they do something, suddenly it's in a 4K steelbook, and now we're going to give it HDR. And if you're a transfer chaser, you're going to feel the need to compel yourself to go out there and buy a $35 steelbook for a movie that you've already got 4 releases of.
Yeah, I think it's, like you were saying, it's just like what matters to you, of course, but there's also sometimes we just need to tell people, it's like, you don't need to get everything. You'll be fine.
Right.
Like, of course, the thing with labels now, and it's kind of a thing of, it's like this with a bunch of other stuff, but with a bunch of labels, it's just like we only have really the money to press these many copies, but they also use that in their factor where it's like we only have this many copies, so buyer's remorse, you better fucking get it, So it's like I get that, but it's also, I mean, I fall into it, so I can't say that they're doing anything wrong by chance or anything like that. But and I don't, it's hard sometimes, but it's just like you'll be fine. Look over there. Have you watched any of those movies? No, you haven't, because I haven't either. Okay, watch one of them. You'll be fine.
I think a big conundrum that I've had recently, and is I remember David Cronenberg's Crash, which is one of my favorite films. I remember I bought the Criterion Blu-ray before I got 4K, and now that I have 4K, I've heard The Arrow is even better. And it's like, do I chase that down? And it's kind of like, well, I think the Criterion looks great, like, and it is one of my favorite movies. But like, also the like, do I double dip? Do I sell that one and get the Arrow, which I've heard the transfer's better, but Criterion has different extras, like that sort of thing? And then it just becomes I will settle for this just to make myself not.
How dare you settle for it? Yeah.
Like
I 4K of Crash and on a Criterion, you settled.
But there's certain things like that where I have to, like, just because I have weird anxiety about stuff like that, and there I just have to take a breath and be like, it's fine. You still own again, that was another movie where I think I had the Canadian DVD. That was the only thing I could get that, like, for a while. Yeah. And then I was just like, had to tell myself, look, you own the thing on Blu-ray now. Isn't that great? Like, sometimes that can be enough. And yeah.
Look, if it's one of your favorites, I mean, I'm a collector, so I'm going to collect multiple copies of some of my favorite movies, but sometimes, you just need one. You just need one. I got to make room for like the 3 Anaconda VHSs I have. And you know what? You can't be cluttering that up with pointless 4Ks, okay? You gotta know what you're doing over here.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it depends on where you're shopping. I mean, if I go into, like, someplace like the Archive, or like a locally owned, record store or video store or something like that, I'm definitely gonna be more inclined to spend money there and find for example, where I got Scissors, or like Planet Records in Harvard Square is like locally owned and it's small. And like, when I find something, another one that I should have brought down, but like, I bought the Kiyoshi Kurosawa film Doppelganger, which I've never seen, which was just on DVD and also out of print. I'm definitely going to be more encouraged to spend money there, where I feel like I'm, helping support a local business and, helping them thrive, in addition to picking up some movies that I will probably like based on, the track records I've had with the filmmakers or the labels or whatever. So I think that comes into play as well.
Oh yeah.
I think one aspect with this FOMO too that we don't talk about enough is there's a big difference between a movie like Scissors and a movie, I mean, we joked about it earlier, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You can be, rest assured, in 3 years, if you happen to have no copies of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there will be one for you to buy. That movie will never be unavailable. That movie has always been out there in multiple releases, and you will absolutely find a way to get it. Scissors, though,
when that 4K gets pronounced, woo, let's go.
I mean, the honesty, this Blu-ray release could potentially be the last release of this movie, literally ever, on physical media. And so it's one of those things, like, do you trust something like that and go for the things that are more likely to disappear? Because one thing that we don't talk about this is, if a movie has been released 5 times on Blu-ray already, and it's
sure good.
What was the first Blu-ray was like 2006 or something. So in the last 18 years, if it's got 3 releases on Blu-ray, you can probably bet that's coming out in 4K. And one thing that tells you, the licensing is probably pretty easy for a label to get if it's already been out there on Blu-ray a few times. So you can count on that probably coming out. However, if Kino Lorber announces something, and this is the first time it's ever been on Blu, that might be a little more sketchy moving forward. Like, it might be less likely to be released. This could be a one-time only thing. And then if it doesn't sell well, it's kind of guaranteed to probably never be released again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing that right now. Not to blast this release, because we wrote about it in the newest issue of the Physical Media Advocate, and I have it pre-ordered. The Guyver. Unearthed Films is putting out the Guyver on 4K. It's the uncut version. It's coming out with this big extravagant release. Arrow released that 4 years ago in Canada and the UK, and they sold 17,000 copies of the Guyver. And Unearthed Films still said, let's go put it out on 4K. This should do fairly well. And honestly, it will. It will do very well for them, I bet. And yeah, it's a different version, but that shows you something that got a decent release. It's more than likely going to come back out. So don't feel like you're going to miss out forever if you're missing out today.
Yeah, Unearthed is definitely also labeled that I'm not going to be a completionist, but they definitely like we're just like, oh, y'all put out August Underground, so y'all are some freaks. So I need to figure out what else y'all are putting out.
That's not to be too coy again. That's a label that's going to surprise some people over the next year. He's breaking into like better movies, and it's going to impress some people.
Hey Ryan, can you give me your Gmail login just so I can, just for no reason whatsoever? Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thankfully, most of that is in recorded phone calls, but still saved in my drive, so I guess you got it.
Hell
Let's go into the 4K thing because we've hinted at it so many times tonight. In any comment section on any announcement, we get complaints about why no 4K. This is the big 3-word phrase that we're reading on everything. Like, hate to break it to you, most movies will never be on 4K. Things are not going to sell well enough for them to invest more money in an HDR grade, which costs a lot of money, and then the disc itself costs upwards of 3 times as much to produce as a Blu-ray. That should be reason enough right there.
Yeah, it's the thing is if people are saying that about like, Challengers that just came out, it's just like, yeah, why is there no 4K for this brand new movie that just came out that a certain type of person would buy the shit out of a 4K of that? But if it's like, like a small label like a TerraVision or something like that, it's like if you're that type of person that's developed in and likes TerraVision and other these type of boutique labels, you should know that they talk about this often, that it's not just that easy to just put out a 4K. And it's like, they've done all of this work, and it's just like, look at all of this I gave you. Oh my God, we went through it, we transferred it, I found it in a garage of somebody from Nicaragua. Isn't that so awesome? And you're just like, it's not in 4K, is it? Like, I don't know. It just reaps of like, what more could, if it was in 4K, well, you would find something else to complain about, is the type of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to paint all these people who are just like mindless complainers or whatnot, but it's like sometimes you just got to realize that it's like sometimes 1080p is good enough, and 4K is just a little cherry on the top. Yeah. Get those for the ones that you really love or ones that you don't already have. It's not the be all. I mean, it technically is the be all end all, but it's fine if you don't have it. It's fine. I'm telling you, it's fine.
Even that, it's not even just about upgrading. It's every title's not going to be announced in 4K. So instead of just not complaining, let's just, for some of these, be like, oh wow, this has literally never been on Blu-ray. This is a great release. This is awesome. Like, I'm also not saying to settle for everything, because there are some choices that are just asinine. But for things like Challengers, I mean, honestly, it's an Amazon-owned company. We're lucky to be getting anything for Challengers.
That is true. Same thing with any of the Fox Searchlight movies. Like, did they ever announce all of them Strangers come to Blu-ray, or is that only a UK? Like,
well, currently there is something up for pre-order on Diabolic. I'm waiting on a press release to be able to post it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go. But then all the people that are just like, motherfucker, I spent like $40 on shipping for the UK, and now you're gonna announce it. It's like, so it's for those type of companies, for like a Fox Searchlight who's barely putting out Blu-rays right now as is. It's like, yeah, that might be the best you get. Either that or get a 4K file download from iTunes, and there you go. So still need Barbarian. Yes, I detest that movie, but where the fuck is the Blu-ray of it? Like, it's been like the amount of bootleggers that have made money off of that movie. Jesus Christ. Like, that should have been like day one or like a month after the movie was in theaters. That should have already been out, but who knows?
So I was just thinking about All of Us Strangers. Yeah.
So it is a UK pre-order, but we had heard that nothing was going to come, so this is a big deal.
Yeah,
there you go.
And it's a great movie.
Yeah, just UK only. It's just like, especially for those type of companies. It's just like, let's see, I think, what is it? Paramount and Sony are really the only ones, one of the big studios that are like constantly putting out 4Ks, it seems like. and everything else is just really pick and choose whenever they want to put out a Blu-ray that's bare bones. I mean, yeah, Apple TV. I mean, I don't even know if that has a UK release. I know, I think the UK has Coda, but like, there's a Best Picture winner.
He has a 4K of Coda.
Oh, okay. But like, yeah, in the US, the Best Picture winner, there's no physical release of it. Like, that's kind of wild. I mean, they want it to be that way because Apple TV is not going to be like, oh yeah, you can pay $20 and get that, or you can sign up for a service and watch it for $10. Like, obviously, that's the way they do it. It's the same reason that Netflix does it. Hell yeah. Orbit DVD shout out. Orbit DVD is the greatest thing ever. I love Orbit DVD.
Oh.
I will order something on Orbit DVD and 10 minutes later it's shipped. I don't understand how they work over there. I don't get it.
The other big thing, I know Charlie, I just feel like shouting somebody else out. I get Charlie's friend Sam, who also lives in Massachusetts, was raving today because he ordered something from Atomic on Monday, and it was in his hands in Massachusetts today. That's astonishing.
Yeah.
And Atomic is in Kansas, by the way, not out in North Carolina by Orbit or anything.
Orbit, like, I always get media mail, which is usually like a week time, and 2 days will go by and I get it. Like, it's insane. I don't know how they're doing over there, but yeah, I cannot. And I love Diabolic as well, but Orbit DVD is my go-to, and then Diabolic will have stuff that Orbit doesn't have, and vice versa. But have had no bad experiences with the Orbit. I love them so much.
Any more feelings you want to get out there, Charlie?
I hope there's a Killers of the Flower Moon 4K or Blu-ray of some kind at some point. But I don't know.
There is a 4K that you can get on Diabolic that released in Italy, I believe.
Oh, good to know.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, I've been pretty much that's all. But I mean, collect what you want to collect, but also there's a few affirmations you should repeat to yourself with it whenever you're just like, how come I don't have money for rent? Like, you don't need to buy everything. That's what I'm saying. when you're eating ice sandwiches for lunch because you had to buy that movie that you haven't seen on 4K for $80, like, you don't have to get everything. It's all a lie. Everything's a lie. Unless it's limited, then yeah, buy it, because you'd look like a loser if you don't have it. I mean, come on now.
I mean, all of this is great. If you can afford it, do it. If not, probably don't. Question mark. Like, there's a lot of negative sides to this, and somebody commented earlier that there's other, like, people who talk about physical media that do YouTube stuff that appear to be living above what their actual means are and just buying and not watching things. I'm not going to comment on people, but man, if you get caught in that net, like, that's a life-changing for the next multiple decades for you net to get out of, if you ever get out of it, literally.
Yeah. Yes, ice sandwiches, Stan. Have you never had an ice sandwich in your life? You've never struggled. You've never bought more Blu-rays than you should have that week, okay? So you should be happy. You're doing good.
I feel like I just want to go down 9 other rabbit holes on this, but I think this is probably good enough.
That's good.
Kevin and Charlie, thanks for doing this. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you so
Love
much.
having you back.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to you again. Everybody else, we will see you next week. Couple shout outs. Next week is, speaking of not buying things, the Vinegar Syndrome sale starts next Thursday
Son of
night.
a goddamn fucking everything I just said. Scratch it out. Fuck it. We're going. Fuck it. We're doing it live. I'm buying all of it. I don't care. Oh, man.
Next week we'll do Reconnected, and then we'll stay live for the sale. Monday, I've got an interview with Curtis, who is the mastermind behind New York Ninja Vinegar Syndrome. We talk about a bunch of things for the sale. He's somebody that I don't think I've seen anybody else interview on YouTube, and it's a great conversation. If you're a Patreon supporter, you already got it. While the show was live, I sent an email to you with the link to be able to watch it early. It's an incredible conversation. Curtis is amazing. And I've got a couple other interviews lined up after that. Guys, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday. See ya. Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share it with someone else that may appreciate this.